coverage. I didn't know when to start screaming. Giant coverage for you guys today. 12 hours straight. Ben Mankiewicz, Jake Uger, John Iadarola, Anna Kasparian. I will be yelling throughout the day. So
what we're going to do here is we raise it up there. See, at the bottom, I'll be putting all of the states. We'll have the solid blues, and then the solid reds. And then we'll have a bigger mix this year so we can have more drama, even if we kind of know.
Yeah, well, that's a question. That's a question we're going to tackle right away.
And then as they come in, we'll put them up here and we'll call it. And
you know what? Yeah. No, make sure that's preserved. That should go to the museum. It should. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
It might. You never know. Okay. Should we start off by talking about our experience this morning at the polls if we voted this morning?
Yeah. Let's do that.
I think that's important.
Okay, and then right after that, we're going to tell you who's going to win. Okay. I was eating breakfast with my kids this morning before I went to go vote, and they're both so excited at the idea that a girl could be president. They say girl, right? Uh-huh. And so Joy was excited, and then I said, and then they found out that Donald Trump was. Because I told them it just came up because of school that I went to the same school as Donald Trump, and they're like, no. And I'm like, that means that somebody you're going to school with could also be president one day, and they're like. Really? Like, Pro was like Darren? Right?
That's the person he thought.
Darren sounds pretty good.
Or Alex? And Joy looks up immediately in the precocious way she does it, goes, or me.
Oh. Look at the Pro thinking small and Joy thinking big. Yeah.
Totally. And so, but look, there is value in it. I just because you shouldn't vote on someone just based on their gender, of course. Now, but there is a little bit of joy in a 4-year-old girl this morning going, or me.
Josie.
Well, that's another reason why I was proud to vote against Donald Trump, because all the 1,000 issues I got with Hillary Clinton, the idea of Donald Trump beating the person who could be the first female president.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't get any worse than that.
That's right.
For pure irony, that doesn't sway my vote at all, but for irony purposes, yes, that would be interesting.
I actually experienced something yesterday that I guess I shouldn't have been shocked by, considering the rhetoric that we've been dealing with during this election, but it did shock me in the moment, and I did react to it. So there were 2 older white guys from the Cato Institute. There was apparently some sort of Cato conference there. That's a libertarian think tank, by the way.
They must have...
They're behind me, and in the span of 5 minutes, they badmouthed Latinos loudly and very transparently. Badmouthed Latinos, Muslims, and black people, okay? And I just couldn't take it anymore. And I just turned around and I told them to shut the F up. Mm-hmm. And they were like shocked that someone had said anything. And then that was it. They stopped talking. I think they were embarrassed. There was a line full of people, and I was pretty loud. And it scares me. I don't want to live in a country like that.
Yeah,
I underestimated how much America is race obsessed, and it's actually Then I realized, it dawned on me. I had like an epiphany. Of course. It's right-wingers doing their usual projection. They keep saying that blacks are race-obsessed and minorities are, when it's the exact opposite, right? It's white right-wingers who can't stop thinking in terms of race.
I think that Jeb would have a much easier time beating Hillary, to be honest with you, because one thing that Trump never really had was a sound strategy, right? He's all over the place. He doesn't know what he's doing. There's no ground game. But with someone like Jeb Bush, I think he would have advisors and a campaign strategy that would be much smarter and much savvier when it comes to beating Hillary.
They would have run a professional campaign.
Exactly.
And they would have...
Because, look, I actually think that Trump had the better chance of winning than the establishment Republicans. His only problem is that he's an idiot.
Yeah.
We always said he's a wild card.
Yeah.
And he was.
Yeah, and so last night as we were discussing the polls, I was saying 2.5-point lead nationwide for Hillary Clinton, but that was 2 days ago. And then Ben read 6 polls in a row of her at a 4-point lead. Okay. So the latest polls have her very clearly at a 4-point lead nationally.
The early voting data, especially in some of the most consequential states, looks good for Hillary Clinton. And
so you're 6 states that are going to determine the election today are Nevada, Colorado on the West Coast. Okay, very, very important. And then on the East Coast, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida. So those are, even if you have Michigan up on the board, or you think that Hillary Clinton has an outside chance in Arizona, et cetera, it doesn't really matter because if Trump wins Michigan, that means he probably won Pennsylvania and he probably won fairly easily. If Hillary Clinton won Arizona, she landslided him. So it's totally irrelevant, right? So those are the 6 most important states, and so that's why there's never a line. And so this time, there's a line around the corner. I'm like, what the, right? And I thought, oh my God, Hillary's going to win easy. Okay, this is my anecdotal evidence because
in West LA there was a line.
Yeah, no. And look, West LA is obviously super irrelevant. It's a very liberal place. Of course, Hillary Clinton's going to win in a landslide. Of course, she's going to win California. It's not relevant, right? Although it'll be relevant to our discussion in a minute. No, that to me signaled people are motivated to go vote against Trump. Like people were like, no, I got to get up in the morning. I got to go make sure that I'm going to vote against Trump. That was my reading of it, and I grant you that it's just totally my reading of it, and it could be a different reason.
So yeah. Look, this election is over. Okay, Trump cannot win. He can't win for a number of reasons. I mean, putting aside his xenophobia, racism, sexism, and all that gets Latinos and other groups to vote in large numbers. He's incompetent. He's just flat out incompetent. He had a chance to win this, and I think he could have if he had just played his cards right, but he didn't. He played every single thing he did wrong. And one of the things he doesn't do right is the ground game. To me, those basic things like infrastructure, people on the ground, get the vote out, those things are critical. It's one thing for a person to say, yeah, I hate Hillary, I'm going to vote Trump. It's a whole different matter for that person to go out and actually vote. He's not going to do it. So I always thought this election was over a long time ago because you don't just make up that ground game in an instant. That takes months and months of preparation, which he never did. Yeah. So I always thought this election, I mean, in terms of the popular vote, would be always going to be kind of close. But the electoral vote won't be close at all. I think he's going to win by, I think Hillary will have 320 electoral votes when it's all said and done, plus or minus 5. So I never bought into your fear-mongering. One, Hillary's going to win anyway, so who cares? Number two, I actually don't know, okay? And I'm amused by those who think they're so certain.
Sure.
I don't know who is better or worse, okay? I don't know who's better. I don't know who's worse, okay? So this idea that one guy's clearly worse, I just
100
don't buy
to nothing.
it.
How obvious it is.
See, the reason why that trap works is because there really is a fucking wolf, and Trump is the wolf. So sometimes I say wannabe fascist, sometimes I say borderline fascist, but I think it's fair to just call him fascist.
What would you think would happen if he became president? What would you think would happen?
Okay, so that leads me to my second point, which is you view his incompetence as, don't worry about it, he's incompetent, can't get any of his terrible ideas done. I view it as, no, his incompetence is the most dangerous part of the Trump thing. And so every non-vote and every vote for a third party that doesn't go to Hillary Clinton in a swing state like Florida is a vote that helps Donald Trump become president. I hate that fact, but it is a fact.
So you're saying people who don't vote or vote for anyone other than Hillary are making a morally wrong choice?
No, I do. Yeah, but I'm saying that.
So are you saying then everyone who doesn't vote for Hillary Clinton is making an immoral choice with their vote?
Okay, so let me be very clear about this. First of all, it depends on what state you're in. I know we live in an insane country with an insane electoral college, okay? If you live in a swing state, what I don't want to hear is people telling me that they're morally superior to us because, hey, I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. I made a coward's choice and I didn't vote. I made a coward's choice and I pretended that it didn't matter. I pretended it didn't matter, and I'm morally superior to you. Fuck that. No, you're not. Okay? So
I don't see how anyone, given the proclivities of most of the people working here, who can hear what Donald Trump said about women, about Muslims, about blacks, about Latinos, who has emboldened the Klan, who has emboldened white supremacists, who ran his final campaign ad with these pretty unsubtle anti-Semitic images and phrases that has opened a door, a dark, ugly, awful door.
Yes.
That is the same as your objections to Hillary Clinton, which are totally sound objections. They, to me, If you work here, I don't see how they are the same.
They're not. The problem with Hillary is that she has actually done many of these things that deeply, deeply trouble us.
And then one more thing is that she hasn't shown any capacity for growth. That was going back into the White House, too. Anyway, now I forgot my point, Ben. God damn it.
She did support that.
That she supported it. She's no growth.
Right, that's it. The no growth.
Then that's the point. If nobody's missing the goddamn story of their lives that this frickin' monster is running for president. Stop it! Don't let them do that. Don't let them disenfranchise voters. At a bare minimum, I'll grant you a tie on foreign policy, a tie on war. We don't know. Don't let them affect climate. Don't let this monster affect climate change. Don't let him take votes away from people in this country. At a bare minimum, that's enough to go, I hate her, but I'm going to vote for her.
All right. Secondly, I want to be super clear about the debate we had in the last hour. I just want everybody to realize I am no way saying I am morally superior to anyone else. The argument I was making is that people who say they're morally superior for not voting for Hillary Clinton are not correct. So I just want to be super clear about that, okay? So I'm not trying to lord over you, but I'm saying if you're going to try to lord over me, then we're going to have issues. Okay.
We're against lords.
That's right.
At TYT. We don't like lords. Lordship.
But I'm so tired of, I work in the field with Jimmy as a woman. Women are held to a higher moral standard. And when I keep hearing this, Hillary is corrupt, Hillary's this, she's a politician, like they've all been corrupt. Like what is so, I want you to tell me specifically why you don't like Hillary. And the reality of it is that you don't like her because she has a vagina. There are people who
That's
have
just one of the things that I don't like about her.
no, but there are
she
people
could have had
it
removed.
Well, I mean, now, yeah, but I just think that there is an abundance of uninformed people who are making these statements and talking about this woman, and they cannot articulate why they don't like her. And it's because she's a woman.
I think.
And we see Obama give a speech, and we're like, God, you're awesome. And then we watch Hillary give a speech, and we're like, okay, you're trying real hard.
She's not a good speaker.
Yeah.
She's actually a terrible speaker. I mean, there have been polls on, how trustworthy Hillary Clinton is versus Donald Trump. And even though Donald Trump is proven to lie way more than Hillary Clinton lies, people think that Hillary Clinton is not to be trusted.
Hey, Anna, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm doing well considering the fact that today is, I don't want to say the last day that we have to deal with all this nonsense, but hopefully things calm down in regard to rhetoric after the election today.
Wow.
That was the kind of stuff that was going on. And it was just so ugly that I couldn't take it anymore. And I turned around and I was like, we can cuss, right? I was like, shut the fuck up.
Bart in the booth.
He launched his campaign by saying, yeah, the Mexicans, they're rapists, they're criminals. I assume some are good people. Mm-hmm. I love how he flipped it. Like a normal person would say, like, yeah, some of every group has criminals, but most are good people. He flipped it. He said they're rapists, they're criminals. I assume some are good people.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
What do you think is going to happen today?
So I did a really long segment on this yesterday, and I have to say that I might have to amend what I said yesterday a little bit, because yesterday my prediction based on the numbers was Hillary Clinton 279. So I thought she was going to take it, but she was going to barely edge it out. And I said I wouldn't be surprised anywhere from 273 to 323 for her. Today, the forecast is a little bit stronger for her. So yesterday, Nate Silver had her chances at 65%. Today, her chances are up to 70%, which I mean, that's a big jump for one day. And what happened? But I do think Hillary might edge it out. I think it might even be about 300 electoral votes now. But here's the thing I wanted to mention that, I don't feel like gets talked about enough. Trump is putting up a fight, and this race certainly isn't totally over. Mm-hmm. And I think he's been underestimated every single step of the way. So, I mean, we can go, oh, you know what? He's not even going to win a debate. Well, he won a debate. He's not going to win the second debate. He won the second debate. He's not going to win a single primary. He won a primary. He's certainly not going to, lead in the polls. He led in the polls the entire fucking time. Mm-hmm. He's certainly not going to be the nominee. Oh, he's the nominee. And then the very next sentence is what? Well, he's certainly not going to be the president.
We were in a cab in Reno, which is the beginning of a great story. And I know the guy hadn't farted right before we got in the cab. But I know that the cab smelled like farts. This is my biggest fear about Trump's presidency, but Trump's having run.
That cabs might smell like fart?
Did he fart enough in the cab of America? Because he did it all the time, and I had a car for 150,000 miles, and I farted in it so much that when I gave it over to someone else, I was sad because I knew it smelled like farts. Did he fart enough in the car of America that even if he loses, when he hands that car over to Hillary for the presidency, will it still smell like fart? And in what kind of farts will it smell like? Like,
I think so.
Did he do such irreparable damage? And will we find that magic air freshener, that Febreze that doesn't counteract odors, but somehow neutralizes odors? That's my question.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a big win for Hillary. Really.
Final thoughts, Brett?
No, I have zero final thoughts. I was just sadly contemplating the future of America. I mean, for me.
All right, back on the Young Turks election coverage. Forget this panel. Who cares about this? I want to see a shot of The Undertaker from the underworld. All right, welcome to the Young Turks special election day coverage. Regular show, drop it.
So this is the 2012 board. We got all of pull back a little bit there so we can get the full, or I'll raise it up there. So the blue numbers are states that we know Clinton's going to win below, and as they come in, we'll move them up there. And then in the middle in green are all the toss-up states, and we have liberal use of toss-up states because we want to make it fun and dramatic. Yeah. And also you'll.
Yeah, and note to self for future elections: green not a great color for the camera.
Oh, you know what? We can. By the way, by the time results start rolling in, I can do something about that. I can orange that up. I can black it up.
Interesting.
I like black.
But I'll need a moment.
So now, we've already gone through 5 hours. It feels like 5 minutes to me. I swear.
Really does.
Like I feel like, what the hell? Where did the 5 hours go? But luckily, don't worry, we've got 7 hours left. Okay,
at least.
And we
one in Nebraska.
So you even have Wisconsin and Minnesota, which is come on.
It just means that we can take them off a more fun part of the board.
Also,
and give them to Hillary Clinton. But yeah, I got you. We could obviously move those over to Hillary Clinton right now if you want.
You know,
no, it's okay. Trump has campaigned in Wisconsin.
Well, it looks like that demographic advantage is real, and that's why Hillary Clinton is now much closer to being president, much more, like I think she would have, if this was 8 years ago, the demographics of 8 years, I think we'd be in a lot of trouble. But 8 years from now, when North Carolina is solidly blue and Texas is teetering on the edge, and Georgia's slipping over into blue, when Georgia is slipping over into blue,
and Georgia
and
not
Arizona,
a significant number of electoral votes.
And there are not equal and opposite states going red. Okay, we have a result in, I can't believe I haven't said it yet.
A result?
Hillary Clinton has won Guam.
Oh,
okay.
As Guam goes,
so goes no electoral college votes.
How does?
Well, America's Day has begun with a Hillary Clinton victory. She won comfortably, 72% for Hillary Clinton, and Trump only got 24%.
Just for fun, we actually have some actual election results.
Yeah, from Indiana?
From 3 states, Indiana, New Hampshire, and Kentucky, all with less than 1% of precincts reporting. So they're a little meaningless.
Here comes Bernie.
But they're all bad news. Let's start with Kentucky because we don't care.
Oh, Kentucky.
73-25 Trump.
Okay, have Kentucky. Who cares?
Second one we don't care about,
Kentucky.
Indiana. Don't care. 69-28.
Well, we care for the Senate.
We care for the Senate.
Well,
69-28. New Hampshire, again.
This is important.
This is an important one. Less than 1%. I'm sorry. That one actually not less than 1%. That 1%. 1% of the precincts. 53-41, Donald Trump.
Uh-oh.
Disaster.
Okay, the mood has immediately changed. Okay. So I told you. Okay. It's just 1%. Don't panic yet. Don't panic yet. Don't panic yet.
Let me see if I can get an
I keep
actual
saying to
hard
myself.
count of votes. Oh, you know what, dude? It's remove the panic.
Oh, okay.
It's the leftover votes from Dixville Notch.
Oh. But didn't she win Dixville Notch?
No, Trump won it 32-25, so it's meaningless. 32-25.
Dixville Notch. Go fuck yourself.
You know what?
Yeah.
I bet he is constantly worried that she's going to cheat on him for a far better looking average man. Like a far more virile anybody else in the country. And so he probably watches her constantly. That's the problem. When you choose someone who's way out of your league, you're just plagued by fear and insecurity. And so he's checking in on her all the time.
Okay, so lock him up. Lock him up. Could you imagine if Hillary Clinton arrests him for this after she wins? No, this isn't some sort of like alternate strategy that Trump is using, like some sort of third dimensional chess with a Jedi mind trick thrown in. No, he just, because that's his whole life. His daddy gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's been fumbling it ever since. Why do you think he went bankrupt 6 times? Yeah. Why do you think he built 3 casinos in Atlantic City at the same time, even though everyone said, hey, knucklehead, you're going to cannibalize your other casinos? And all of them went bankrupt because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing and he never prepares. There wasn't a strategy. He's just like, man, getting out the vote and the ground game, I don't know what that is. I don't want to. Anybody want to figure that out? I don't want to figure it out. Yeah. And one other thing that's really important, his ego blocks him from asking questions. So he doesn't know what a ground game is. He can't ask because he's Mr. Trump and he knows everything. So if he says, hey guys, what's a ground game? He looks like an idiot, right? So he doesn't ask.
He's surrounded.
I don't win. This is a total waste of time. Here we are, election day. We don't know who's going to win. Is that still how you feel?
Even your friend Bill O'Reilly said it's the greatest political phenomena in his lifetime. There's never been a movement. So they said, no, even if you don't win. I said, let me tell you, if I don't win, I will consider it a tremendous waste of time, energy, and money. I'm going to be, sure. I will have spent over $100 million on my own campaign. But no, I will consider it, I will not consider it great if I don't win.
That's a weird way to put it. That it would have just been a big waste. That's basically giving the finger to the people who've supported you.
Yeah.
It's the wrong thing to say, for sure.
It's just the wrong thing. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Think it.
And besides which, think about it. What you're supposed to say is, even if we lose, the fight goes on. Because it's not about me.
Right.
Yeah. It's about this movement. That's exactly what. For Trump, there are no ideas he passionately cares about. There's hardly any idea up there. If you look inside Trump's brain, it has just one giant sign that says, glows Trump, Trump, Trump. So once the race is over, he's like, what do I care about any of you and the movement or ideology? I flip-flop on my opinions all the time. I don't have an ideology.
Right.
There is no movement. The movement's about me. If I lose, it's over. And the interview, which is, God, if I lose, then it was all a waste. It turns out after all this time, I am a loser.
He better lose.
Okay. All right. All right, back on the Young Turks election night coverage. Are you kidding me? We're halfway through. I feel like we just started. Polls are closed. Polls are closed. Panic time. Okay. Georgia just closed. Sorry, Georgia's done. It's done. Oh my God, who's going to win Georgia? Trump. Indiana is closed. It's closed. It's done. It's done. I'm sorry, it's done. They're kicking you out. They're kicking you out of the polling stations. Indiana's closed. Who's going to win it? Trump. But these are not called yet, by the way. I'll tell you when it's officially called. Oh my God, Trump's got such a huge lead. He's going to win the first 3 states. Oh my God. South Carolina closed. First 4 states go to Trump. Jeez, Lord mercy. They're not called yet. They're not called yet. Just calm down. Okay, I'm telling you to calm down as I'm screaming. Here we go. The great state of Vermont is just closed. We're gonna bring Vermont home. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring it home.
A little awkward. Virginia, you'll notice there in the black in the middle. We're officially calling it a swing state, but we're being generous with our swing state terms because we want dramatic moments.
Okay, we're being honest about it. We're being honest.
But obviously, a Trump win in Virginia, devastating.
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic. As would a Trump win in Pennsylvania. We'll check to see if any of those states have been called. We'll have that.
Yes. So the minute we have information from any of the news sources, we will scream. Okay. So it'll be subtle. The way we'll tell you is, oh my God, results are in Virginia. Okay. So that's now 6 hours. But, okay.
We have 3 states called.
They're called. We have calls. Go.
The state of Indiana.
Called.
11 electoral votes. Donald Trump.
He's winning 11-0. We're done for.
Trump from the outside scores. From the Commonwealth of Kentucky, he's got a 19-0 lead.
Well, you said Commonwealth, and you said from the outside for a second. I panicked that it was Virginia.
Or Pennsylvania.
I know, but Pennsylvania hasn't closed it.
So 19-0. But the comeback has already begun.
Oh, my God.
A 3-pointer from Burlington, Vermont, buried for Hillary Clinton. She's on the board. It's 19-3.
The home of Bernie Sanders. Does Bernie deliver? Always. always. But right now, guys, it is panic time. We're losing 19-3. 19-3, Trump takes the early lead. But is that Clinton from behind? Here comes Hillary Clinton. I will say for the rest of the night until she takes the lead momentarily. She won't at the 7 o'clock hour.
No.
In the 7 o'clock hour, you can add Virginia to that list, we hope, but he will have the lead going into 7:30. He'll maintain the lead through 7:30. 8 o'clock is when we start yelling, "Here comes Hillary." Although the first state on the board there is Alabama.
I have an unusual.
You're a cuck.
Let me. Let me give you a couple updates because I'm. Anyway, but it's now 440,000 to 430,000 Clinton.
In Florida?
In Florida.
Now remember, that's a little, okay, I am a tiny bit worried about that. I'll tell you why. Because they're supposed to have the early voting immediately as soon as the polls close. And so she's supposed to have a big lead in the early voting in Florida.
Well, we don't know. We're supposed to have, there's no reason to think that, she's supposed to have a lead. She might continue to have, we don't know where that early vote has come from. We don't know.
And remember, Florida, so Hillary Clinton should have a lead. But it's minutes.
It's minutes, and she's just surged massively to take a lead. And as we remember from every other election, we know what counties get counted last. And those are the Broward and Miami-Dade, which are the two biggest counties likely in the state for Hillary Clinton. So
right, those are the far more Democratic counties. So the bottom line there is that it's trickling in. Okay?
It's trickling in. And in fact, Trump is now taking the lead in Florida.
He's taking the lead.
Wait, where?
In Florida.
Okay.
And so, come on, stop doing this every 2 seconds. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
start
agree.
killing ourselves.
I agree.
By the way, let me give you a little update from Florida. Not so much, it's basically tied. But it says 3% reporting, but as we look at these numbers, it's not 3% reporting because the result is, right now, it's 1.83 million for Hillary to 1.80 million for Trump. So she's ahead by about 25,000 votes out of 3.6 million cast.
In Florida.
In Florida.
In fact, we have news right now. We've got another state on the board, and it is not good news. West Virginia has gone to Donald Trump. West Virginia has gone to Donald Trump.
There you go. Yeah, West Virginia to Trump. 24-3. I don't know if she can come back.
She is down. He has got 8 times as many electoral college votes as she does.
24-3.
You know, if she comes back from this, it'll be the biggest comeback in American history.
It will. That's right.
No one's ever been down 8 times as many electoral college votes before and come back and won.
Not this early.
Okay. Whoa, Nelly. Let me tell you about the 2016 election. So now we're in the heart of it, and we are gonna. And you know what happened? As I was telling you that, I got nervous. I got like a pit into my stomach because we've been joking around all day, and that's partly what we do, and then we give you the information and stuff. And those last-minute polls that had swung in Hillary Clinton's direction gave us I don't know about you guys. It gave me a little bit of relief, right? Because I was worried that it was tightening over the weekend, and then the surge did not come for Trump, according to the polling. It came for Hillary Clinton. Now, right now, there isn't anything too much to be worried about. She could lose Florida, by the way, and Ohio, and North Carolina, and still win. And I don't know about comfortably, but win. She could get Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and she doesn't even need Nevada as long as she gets Colorado and Virginia. If we start telling you about Virginia not going well, then okay, get worried. For those who thought it's going to be a landslide, if she loses Florida, it's not going to be a landslide, right? If she wins Florida, then it's over, okay? That means very likely she's won Pennsylvania, and she's going to be over 300 electoral votes. And that doesn't necessarily mean landslide, but it means that's a comfortable win. So that's why these Florida results are super, super important.
Virginia, 10% reporting.
Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Buckle up.
54-41.
Trump.
Yeah. But we,
No.
161,000, 123,000.
No. I'm now actually worried. I'm not kidding. Okay. Because, look, it's 10% reporting. Don't panic, okay? But 54-41, not good news in Virginia, not a good start. But still, as we do that, the knot in my stomach got a little worse, okay? So after all this talk of no big deal and we're going to know and we know who it's going to be, if he wins Virginia, batten down the hatches.
Yeah, I think if he wins Virginia, I don't think that we have any sign. We have no reason to panic. It's impossible not to look at numbers that are bad and not worry a little bit. But they, as you said, with your excellent use of the word bifurcated, I don't think we have any reason yet to panic. That said, if Virginia were to go wrong, it's a massive heart attack.
Yeah. So it hasn't gone wrong yet. It's 10% reporting, but. I'll tell you, look, it got quiet in here the minute we started reporting these real results.
Yep.
And if that continues, there is going to be a pall in here.
I don't even want. I mean, I think.
Where are you?
I will cry. I will literally cry. I'm not even kidding.
Numbers: 100,000 vote lead for Trump in Florida, 2.194 to 2.094, exactly 100,000 votes basically for Trump leading in Florida, from 8 million to 15 million. So we're about halfway done with counting in Florida, getting close to halfway done, and Trump with a 100,000 vote lead. That's a lot of early votes as they continue to have a pretty low number for only 7% of the people who voted today in Florida.
Look, maybe. Likely this thing turns around and, we'll look back at these 17 minutes or so with shits and giggles and I remember for a second we were a little worried, right? Mm-hmm. And if that happens, we'll be like, oh, that was funny. We got a little scared. Scared. That was funny, right? A little scared. But right now, no, I'm a little, he's leading in Florida, he's leading in Virginia. We're going to take a break in a couple of minutes, and that is going to be a heart-pounding break going into the first break after the results have begun to come in. Not exactly what we anticipated. And it's not like you look at Georgia and Indiana and Kentucky and get worried. We're not schmucks. Red states are always going to go to Trump. That doesn't bother me 1 second. Of course. And if you're at a Trump supporter who was like, oh my God, did you guys hear we lost Vermont? They don't know anything about politics. But Virginia and Florida, really, really important. If he wins them both, it's kind of already over. And Trump would be the next president of the United States.
I tweeted Michael.
But if Trump sees those, he's like, okay, that's it. All right, guys, let's measure the drapes, okay? I'm going to put in Trump curtains in the Oval Office, okay?
Made in China.
Making. No, hey, Don. And no, you know how it is. There's the yes men around him, like, yes, Mr. Trump. Yes, we should get red curtains. Yes. Nobody's going to have the balls to tell him, hey, schmuck, only 10% are reporting. Yeah. Don't worry about the Young Turks panicking. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So just hang in there, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It is a little heart-pounding right now, at least.
And also...
All right, back on the Young Turks. Look, Johnny Pie is back. Anna's going to get ballot measures for you guys. We've got a lot of poll closings coming up in 5 minutes. Alabama. Now, while we were in the break, Donald Trump's lead in Florida grew to 3%. And we had a little bit of wheezy. I'm coming to join you, right? But during the break, that has already changed. So, Ben, what's the latest in Florida?
Well, Hillary Clinton at 3,328,000 to 3,135,000, so 193,000 vote lead.
Which means if I
by the way,
whatever you guys
it's changing dramatically as we go.
They do.
Anyway, it just dropped, but not much, down to 167,000. But obviously, votes are coming in. They're clearly counting very rapidly.
What is the percentage?
49.8, 2.5 points, 2.4 point lead for Hillary.
She has a 2.4 point lead. Everybody.
Yes.
Don't panic. She's here comes Hillary.
And just an example of what happens probably around Ohio, super early, less than 1%. Although some significant numbers. Significant in the most limited sense, 250,000 to 200,000, basically. She's ahead in Ohio.
Okay, so if you are on Trump team right now, you're panicking.
Right.
You had the same moment we had about 20 minutes ago where you're like, wait a minute, she's not only up in Florida, but she's up in New Hampshire and Ohio and North Carolina. We didn't do North Carolina, did we?
I did North Carolina, yeah.
How many points?
Ohio's
52,
super
46. Ohio's crazy early. North Carolina at 52% to 46%. 2% in, but that's clearly, again, like Florida, that's not 2% because that's 1.5 million votes already. That's not 2% in North Carolina.
Yeah. And so also the vote, so look, guys, where the votes come from in the state matters a lot, et cetera. You can't extrapolate too much from any of these. They could easily go up and down, as they already have. But there's real and not real, right? So the amount of votes in Florida is definitely real. In North Carolina, it's real, right? In Ohio, not
it's
real.
Nothing, yeah.
New Hampshire, I would count as not real.
Exactly. We should understand. I also believe it's relatively.
The polls have not closed in the Panhandle yet.
But it's also a smaller portion of the population.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that's a great point. No, I'm back to panicking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real
quick. No. I mean, in 10 minutes we could be freaking out. I mean, we shouldn't, obviously.
You know that feeling you had, Cenk? I have that all day and night.
Either way.
I voted for Jill Stein, so I have a little sympathy over here. I hear these numbers, I'm like, every way, no matter which way.
Regarding North Carolina, which we have Clinton up 100,000 votes, 904,000 to 808,000. Again, it says 2% reporting, but.
Okay, what's on the board, Ben?
Well, Hillary Clinton has scored 21 straight points.
Yes.
Let me make sure I get
That's
these.
7 3-pointers.
She hit 7 straight 3-pointers. And the states now called for Hillary Clinton are the state of Maryland has been called for Hillary Clinton. Something new for
Oklahoma for Trump.
Oklahoma for,
I thought we had it. Maybe in 4 more years.
Got to get the board.
4 more.
Got to get the board.
Okay, so Maryland and New Jersey, super comfortable. Hillary Clinton wins. We knew that from day one. Oklahoma, super comfortable win for Donald Trump. None of that is surprising. Swing states are where you got to look for, yes.
Did they have any updates on the ballot initiatives?
Okay.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate
Anna
that.
is here
we
with
could keep talking about Florida, though, and what we think is going to happen.
Yes.
Don't tempt me.
Actually, we will. But, okay, hold. Before we go to the ballot measures, as you can tell already, anybody who's been watching this, no one is more excited about this election than we are. It's a roller coaster ride. There will be either jubilation or absolute despondency. We will go way over 100,000 if Trump wins, because every Trump supporter will turn to the Young Turks to see us bemoaning what has happened to the country, etc., and we will bemoan if that is what in fact happens. By the way, if we get lost track, have we been on air for 7 hours? Yeah, and we've got another 5 to go today at least, okay? And I feel like we're just getting started because the results are coming in. And the minute we start reading results, my juices start pumping. Like, I was, more jubilant, yelling, screaming earlier. And now a nervous Paul has kind of come over me like, I've been saying for a week as the bad polls were coming in, brace for impact. But like as Ben or John read the polls, I'm like literally like bracing, like, okay, let's see what happens next.
Two states that don't matter, D.C. and Delaware.
Clinton, she now has the lead. Here comes Hillary. She's got the lead. Okay. But there's a state that's been called. I know it's not surprising, but we want to give you all the calls. South Carolina has been called.
Yeah, let's take a look.
That's for Donald Trump.
There we go. There's your board. No, that's that board.
Okay. That board.
Yeah. There's a board.
Also, Florida has tightened up significantly.
Yeah, Florida's tightened up significantly. So it's 44-40, Clinton and Trump and and 6 states for Clinton and 5 there.
Okay, so let me get to the tight states. So I'm definitely panicking a little bit. There's 2 states that are over 40% reporting, and neither one of them is good right now. Virginia, there's 40% reporting. Trump's got a 52-43 lead. Now, remember,
122,000 votes.
Yeah, 52-43 lead. That's a big 9-point lead. But remember, Virginia is very split. So if it's Northern Virginia has not come in, it'll make a big, big difference.
And we know that came in.
Now in Florida, with 59% reporting.
Oh my God!
And on top of that is the early voting, 49-49.
It's within 4,000 votes out of 8 million.
What were the chances that Florida would be this close? Unprecedented.
What's the percentage? I'm terrible at percentage.
I'm pretty sure that one is
so close, razor thin.
I'm pretty sure that one is precedented. Okay, so here we are again in Florida. So now look, if she wins Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Colorado, she does not need Florida. So if you're Hillary Clinton, that 49-49 tie right now in Florida is not so bad.
Yeah.
No.
By the way, Donald Trump is up in Florida by, I believe, 18 votes.
Well, then,
that's 28 votes, John.
28 votes. I'm bad at math.
Well, then
3,983,244 to 3,983,216.
That's
unbelievable.
That's less than a bus.
And that is
so we're doing this live coverage here. It's 8:20 p.m. Eastern as this is happening. Florida again on a razor's edge. And if Trump does win it, you should be super glad that legislation passed about pot, because you're going to have to smoke some serious weed tonight. Okay. Okay. So, look, guys, Trump's taking the lead in Florida. It's 61% reporting. It's not just 28 votes anymore. It's a percentage. 49-48 Trump in Florida.
It's 48.6 to 48.4. It's 0.2.
No. It says 49 to 48, Ben. And when you round up and you round down, that seems larger. Okay?
I got you. It's
you have more accurate and complete information, but I'm in mid-panic, so I have no mood for that. Okay?
I got you. It's 14.
Yes, Jimmy.
No, I'm just looking at the result. It's Texas is blue and Ohio is blue.
Texas is below 1%.
Too early.
So.
But Ohio's
got 16% reporting. So let me be clear. Okay, let's give you percentages. Ohio's 16% reporting, Hillary Clinton with a 52-45 lead. Okay, now, I don't want to take anything to the bank. In Ohio, it was polling in Trump's direction, so hold on.
And Portman won.
And did he?
Mm-hmm.
Who won?
Portman won his...
in the Senate. Yeah, well, that again.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so, on the other hand, if it was reversed and Trump had a 7-point lead with 16% reporting, I'd be panicking. So, so a little bit of good news out of Ohio.
And the great thing about Ohio...
Pennsylvania numbers are in. Oh, it's less than 1% reporting. Thanks, guys.
He's up 239 to 51.
Because on my screen, it's 81% to 17%. I'm like, Wheezy, I'm coming to join you, Wheezy.
It's literally a couple hundred votes.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
And in Pennsylvania, and I hope in Ohio that as with so many states, she's up 100,000 votes. With we're already at 1.7 million in Ohio. Ohio's got the most big cities of any state in the country. They just roll big city after big city, and hopefully those cities will come in for Clinton. There's some Michigan numbers in too. They're crazy early as well, but Clinton up slightly there.
Okay, and of course, 53-42 Hillary. North Carolina 9% reporting. 52-46 Hillary.
Yeah, and also again,
that one has early voting.
It's way more than 9%. It's they're already over half of what voted in 2000.
So that number in North Carolina is real. It doesn't mean it's going to hold, but it is a real number. Hillary Clinton leading by 6 points in North Carolina. So these are nowhere near a call. But here we go. No.
God.
Virginia 51% reporting now over the midpoint. 52-44 Donald Trump.
He's still holding that lead.
He's holding the lead in Virginia.
She's going to win Virginia. I just don't see a way that's possible, especially given some of these other results.
Good thing she picked Tim Kaine then.
Well, we might in Pennsylvania now. Just read the percentages. Just read them.
81-18. Hillary Clinton! She's taking the lead!
She switched it completely. Down 80-17, now up 81-18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't
Here comes Hillary!
So literally, they counted like 1,000 votes, and Hillary got all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I saw return.
Ohio, 19% reporting now. 51-45, 6-point lead for Hillary Clinton. Still holding the lead in Ohio. So, yes, we're going to continue to read a lot of numbers at you guys because these are super important states.
Texas just flipped back blue.
Texas back to blue.
Texas back to blue.
What percentage reporting?
49-46 with 1% in. But again, there's no way that's 1%. There's 3 points.
54% reporting in Virginia. Every percentage makes it less likely for the comeback. 8-point lead still for Trump.
I'll give you the appeal. I know a lot of people.
137,000 votes for her to catch up with in Virginia.
Electoral college right now, 60-44. Donald Trump has retaken the lead from Hillary Clinton. That part is totally irrelevant.
So he got a 9-stater. Who did they call? Alabama. Following we didn't declare Tennessee, but now Alabama has gone.
Tennessee and Alabama have gone to Donald Trump. This is devastating news / irrelevant.
Let me give you
also to get weed. So
okay,
that's cool.
and by the way, I'm coming. So for Young Turks on Fusion, I'm going to Massachusetts next Monday. So within a week, I'll be getting high with you guys at Harvard.
Oh, that is amazing. I don't think the law kicks in the
They're
thing.
setting that industry up fast,
Oh, yeah. Well, I could also bring my own supply from California. Okay. Anyway, great day for pot. Great day for pot. Great. You know what it is, actually, though? It's a great day for freedom. Okay? Freedom isn't free, but it just got a little freer today. Okay, anyway.
76 to 24% in Pennsylvania.
Okay, Hillary Clinton with the lead. Okay, now, real numbers.
No
Okay.
real numbers there.
Okay, Virginia. Here comes Hillary. 55% reporting. The lead is down from 8 to 7. Here comes Northern Virginia.
She was down 135,000 when we last spoke. It's 131,000.
Okay, now, Florida.
And you're seeing there Johnson and Stein also.
Florida, super real numbers. 68% reporting. 49-48 Trump. Okay, still super tight.
Except by about 100, a little less than 100,000 votes?
Yeah, 64,000 votes.
Okay.
So, by the way, right now, you want to talk about early results. Mississippi leaning Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Although,
I mean, the quality of the Supreme Court justices that we can get is dropping before our eyes right now. Like, theoretically...
So, North Carolina's tightened a little bit. Hillary Clinton down to a 4-point lead. Just 11% reporting, though. But
it's not
But with not just 11%, because it's got early voting in there, too. So 51-47 is a real number, and she is up by 4 in North Carolina. So that is definitely good news on that front. By the way, Ohio now, 20% reporting, and Hillary Clinton's still leading by 4, 50-46. So that's all good numbers. Now, Florida, 69% plus early voting in, and he's still holding on to a 1% lead. Trump is.
He's moved up to 56, about an 81,000 vote lead there in Florida. Pennsylvania is pointless right now. Again, it's just the path for Donald Trump is so much harder than the path for Hillary Clinton. But and that's why we're also interested in Florida, not because a loss from Florida is devastating for Clinton, but a loss for Trump in Florida pretty much slams the door.
ABC News is calling the House.
For the Democrats?
No, actually.
Libertarians?
No, it's the Reform Party. The Constitution Party, Reform Party they're gonna form an alliance. No, it's gonna be the Republicans are going to maintain control of the House, which we sort of expected.
Yeah,
it was only ever a dream we whispered of for a brief period, and it's not going to happen.
So, that was the brief period when Hillary Clinton was surging to double-digit leads, and that did not last long at all. But here I'm going to quote Michael Schur as the expert. He thinks that the Democrats can pick up 14 seats in the House, which would not be enough to flip the House, and we know that that's already gone. It's not just that it's ABC News that called it. We knew that going into the election. But Virginia is still a 7-point lead for Trump with nope. Here comes Northern Virginia. It happened as I was speaking. 5-point lead now, down to a 5-point lead for Trump. In Virginia was 63% reporting.
117,000. It was like 137, 131. Then it went up to 165. And now dropped to 1.
Can I give us some good news?
Okay, I just wanted to scream, here comes Fairfax County! Okay, go ahead.
Well, a lot of votes coming in for Hillary Clinton in Broward County, no question.
That makes me feel so good. Especially Miami-Dade, where, Cenk touched on it earlier, where there is a Cuban population that leans heavily Republican.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump has been so hideous to Latino voters that I think some of them might have switched their vote for a Democrat.
And the Ohio lead for Hillary Clinton down to 2 points. So that one is really dwindling with 22% reporting, 49-47 Hillary Clinton. So if I'm looking at this map right now, you told me, hey, Cenk, it's 8:44 Eastern. Here's your map. What do you think of it? If you told me this yesterday, a week ago, etc., I'd look at this map and go, oh, that's not as good as I would want or hope for, but I like this better if I'm Hillary Clinton than if I'm Donald Trump, right? If I'm Donald Trump and I need these states and I'm still losing by 2 in North Carolina, I'm losing by 9 in New Hampshire. New Hampshire's not enough reporting. I'm down by 5 I'm up by 5 in Virginia with Northern Virginia to come. I'm up by 1 in Florida, but I've got Broward and Dade and all those to come. I go, this is not good enough. On the other hand, Hillary Clinton has not put them away yet. If it,
Again, there's no putting away. They're counting.
No. Agree to disagree.
I'm also looking at Virginia.
Count faster and slash if she. But look, let's put it this way. It's 8:45 now. Right now, it doesn't look like a landslide.
No.
I said it. I said it. How do you count?
No, it's out there.
Oh, also interesting.
Sometimes elections are rigged. I can't tell. Okay.
By the way, we missed a call.
Oh, call right away. Go.
Rhode Island.
We got Rhode Island on the map. Well, wait. You didn't say Hillary, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, Rhode Island. I made it 60-48.
It actually went for Ed.
Okay. Here comes Hillary. 60-48, closing in on. All right. I think this is a good moment. Hillary Clinton's lead down to 2 points in North Carolina and Ohio. 17% plus early voting in North Carolina. Ohio, 25% reporting. So this thing is, right now, it's not over. And every minute that we go forward, so if you told me at 8:49 p.m. it's not yet over, I wouldn't have been happy about that. So it's not like it's bad, but it's not good either.
But there was no way it was going to be over at this
Sure,
point.
they could have called.
No, but they don't call
The
them
last
like
few
that.
elections have all been between 11 and 11:30,
Yeah, they don't.
basically.
Yeah, I mean they don't.
Eastern
Not buying
time.
it.
But there's nothing not to buy. It's true.
I just said it. It's out there now. I'm not buying it.
Please buy it. I need to sell it.
Do we have time for one?
Back on the Young Turks election coverage, I have 2 things to report. 1, it's panic time. 2, I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee. Now gets real. Okay, so here we go. Hillary Clinton's lead in Ohio down to 1, 49-48, 26% reporting. New Hampshire is an immovable object. 52-43 for the last 18 hours straight. For God's sake, New Hampshire, count the goddamn votes already. It's only 13% reporting, but she's got a 9-point lead there. Virginia, 5-point lead, 73% reporting. That's for Donald Trump. Florida, Donald Trump, 1-point lead, 74% plus early voting in. That is a hell of a lot of votes in, but let's hope that Johnny Pie's analysis is correct, that the ones that are not in yet, well, it's a fact. Some of the ones that are not in yet are Broward, Dade.
Broward hasn't moved.
The problem in Virginia, where I'm stunned by the lead that Trump has, but he's up 128,000 votes with 73% in. But she's got 100,000 votes coming in Fairfax County. They're coming.
What did I tell you? I said Fairfax County. I said it. And it was out there. I said Fairfax County.
You said it. There's no question, Cenk. You said it. And a bunch, some votes. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm now worried about Virginia.
Yeah, I'd be worried about Virginia.
No, it's official.
It was an 80% chance.
Yeah.
It's official. We're worried about Virginia. And if she loses Florida, then she needs Virginia. Okay, that's not an insignificant okay? So look, a lot of this is fun and games until you lose the country. So if this is all a lot of drama, but at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton pulls it out, either pulls out Florida, pulls out Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Okay, boy, that was a roller coaster ride. That was fun, right? If at the end of the day she doesn't pull it out, Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, the most powerful man on earth for 4 years. That's
immediately indicted and put in jail.
Okay, well, from your mouth to God's ears, but I don't think that's how it's going to work. There will be indictments, and somebody might get like, could you imagine he arrests Hillary Clinton within 6 months of his presidency, taking the office, and puts her in jail?
It'd be kind of funny.
And no, it would not. No, it would not. Okay, so anyway, right now, North Carolina down to 1 point. Ohio gone, lead's gone, 48-48. Tied in Ohio with 28% reporting. Look, again, context here. Almost every scenario that we've got, Donald Trump wins Ohio. So if he wins Ohio, it is not unexpected and is not at all necessary for Hillary Clinton's win. If she won Ohio, this thing's gone anyway. She wins easy.
I feel the same way about Florida. It's basically the same.
Yeah, but if she loses Ohio and Florida, Well, then she better win Virginia, and right now she's not winning Virginia.
66-48, we've lost Mississippi.
Mississippi's called. Mississippi's called. We have lost Mississippi. Mississippi, we have a problem. You're gone.
You have a problem.
Boy, I tell you, you look at Georgia and Hillary Clinton, 23% reporting, and Trump up 328,000 votes, 63-35. They haven't called it yet. Let's harbor a second of belief that he's going to come back and win that, but nonetheless.
Okay, guys, I'm now super, super nervous. We've now passed 9 o'clock Eastern, and nothing's been called, okay? Nothing of import has been called, nothing but red states and blue states so far.
That's right.
That is not at all surprising.
Another call.
Oh, here we go. A call.
New York, Clinton.
Donald Trump has lost his home state.
He lost his home state.
Yeah. How can he possibly win? Okay, kidding for like 15 seconds stretches now because I can't bear anything more. Up and down the middle of the country, all red. Have we called all those out yet?
Oh my
no,
God,
we
he
haven't.
built a wall.
Okay,
So
he built a wall. North Dakota, gone. South Dakota, gone. Nebraska, gone. Kansas, gone. All called for Donald Trump. I don't have my glasses in.
There are
Wyoming.
15 people
No,
in that stretch.
So
Wyoming, gone.
I don't see New York called yet, but Illinois. has
Illinois.
been called.
Hillary Clinton has won 2 out of her 3 home states.
So they have. There we go. There's New York. New York just got put on the. New York just got put on the board there.
So right now the country is goddamn split, man. It really is. By the way, the lead down in New Hampshire, finally it has moved. Not in a good direction. 50-45, down 5-point lead for Hillary Clinton with 14% reporting in New Hampshire. North Carolina, gone. Donald Trump has officially taken the lead. 30% reporting, 49-49, but Trump with the lead.
What is wrong with this country?
Well, here's an interesting stat that they found out in exit polling today already.
Okay, I don't want to alarm you too much, but seats in the upright position, okay? This Virginia numbers, they don't look good, man. They just don't look good. So, by the way, Ohio, the lead grows for Trump, 50-47 now, 3-point lead, 31% reporting. Virginia, 78% reporting, and it's 50-45, still a 5-point lead for Trump. I keep emphasizing Virginia.
That's supposed to be an easy win.
I don't have it in my 6 states. I don't have it in my 6 toss-up states that decide the election. She had a comfortable lead in Virginia.
Yeah, but they weren't even really campaigning hard in Virginia. I will say that Cenk, she's reduced the lead to 109,000 votes. So, you know, she was 168,000. It's whittling down, but that's a fair amount of votes to go get.
If she loses Virginia, look, I'd have to do the math on it again, and we'll do it here in a sec, but I think she has to win Florida. Okay? It's not even close to enough. No, if she loses Virginia, she's got to win Florida.
Or North Carolina. I mean, or something else.
Yeah, or North Carolina. But now North Carolina, yeah, same place. 32% plus early voting in. Trump with a slight lead. It's tied 49-49, but he's got the slight edge there.
13,000 votes.
Those numbers are not really indicative of anything.
4.1 percentage lead in Virginia has been reduced to 3.8%. That's down to 103,000. So they've begun. Yeah. Counting has begun.
Oh, okay. Thanks God. Virginia down to a 3-point lead, not just a 4-point lead, a 3-point lead for Trump now with 80% reporting.
But the great thing is that I give Cenk the exact number and then you round it the wrong way. So I'm like, I just said 3.8. And you're like, it's 3. I'm like, well, actually, no, it's
you have the more exact numbers.
Yes.
You have the more exact numbers, but I see 3 points here. And
that makes you feel better.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Right.
3 sounds a lot better than 3.8. 3.8 sounds like crap. I'm back to panicking. And by the way, like I'm in a bad zone, not a good zone where the baskets seems like it's gigantic, right?
You're in a glass box of emotion.
Sometimes I could barely hear you guys because in my head it's like, she's losing. Virginia needs Florida, right? And God damn it, if we need Florida, are you shitting me? And Florida is razor thin again with 85% plus early voting in. And he's leading them by a little bit now. Are you shitting me? That's where we are right now. So, okay, all those dreams of a landslide, it theoretically could still happen. She could pull out Florida, Virginia, and North Carolina. But right now, ain't no landslide.
So here's the upshots forecast, running forecast, right? The New York Times is what Nate Silver left behind, right? And they had it as 85. They ended, I think, at 84% for Clinton to win. They have it at the president, based on everything we've seen, still 68% Clinton. But that ain't 84%.
No.
That's 68%. The Senate, which we had all hoped to flip, is they have it at, they were all less bullish on the Senate than others. But 77% that the Senate stays in the hands of Republicans. And the House at greater than 95%. You know, some of it.
It's Donald Trump.
All right, guys. Look, I'm going to update you on two quick things. And so I would read your tweets if we're in better times. I'll get to that later. But and North Carolina, what's happened? 49-49. He's taking the lead. I know.
So I got a little bit of good news for you.
Okay. Oh, thank God. I need the good news.
So whereas you still see it as 3, but in Virginia it's actually moved from 3.8 to 2.7. So a 4.
That's a big move.
So round that down to
big
1.
Move.
So let's just call it. Let's call it 4.
No, seriously.
4. So it's down to. So let me hard numbers.
Shit.
You remember the hard numbers were saying it's down to 77,000 votes now in Virginia.
Okay, and. But the percentage reporting has not moved very much. It's 82%. That's good news.
Yeah.
So if she had closed to within 2.4, but we're at 98% reporting, you're screwed. At only 82% reporting, and she's closed the lead significantly. Finally, good news out of Virginia.
And bad news out of Colorado. Super early. Well, not super early. 18% in, and Trump with a 3,000 vote lead. They're basically tied in Colorado.
And also, so Florida has updated a little bit.
Left there, but Broward, as John said, well, Broward is about half, John, right?
So let me give you more context.
Slightly less than half.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, more bad news. Ohio, now he has built a 6-point lead, 37% reporting, 51-45. North Carolina, he's now taking a 1% lead with 36% plus early voting in.
Wow.
New Hampshire, 16% reporting, and the lead is down for Hillary Clinton down to 3 points. Okay, I don't see a landslide here. I don't see it at all, okay? What I see is a really, really tight race. So as he's sprinting out ahead in Ohio, well, he was supposed to do that. Okay, fine. But she was supposed to be sprinting out ahead in Virginia, and she is not. She's behind in Virginia. Okay, they were supposed to be relatively tied in Florida, and they're relatively tied in Florida, okay? Again, 88% plus early voting in Florida. So a lot of votes have been counted in Florida, a lot. And so if Ohio had been called for Trump right now, and Virginia had been called for Hillary Clinton, and we had the same kind of tied situation in Florida, I'm not sweating it. And then I go, okay, good, she won Virginia. That means she'll win Pennsylvania, and she doesn't need Florida. But she's not winning Virginia. So it doesn't mean she's not going to. She might. I don't even know what's likely at this point. I mean, Ben, okay, you got a call?
No, I got a, well, yeah, but nonsense ones.
Okay, but.
So
all right.
Keep talking. I'm just putting it up.
So here, I want to go to Virginia in a second, but no, go ahead, make these calls.
No, we're at 129, 197. The Times has it at 130, but we don't have any specificity on that Omaha district in Nebraska. So right now we're only giving them the 4 electoral votes in Nebraska. Arkansas also going to Trump. Nothing so far. No upset has been called yet. So when you see 129 or 130 to 97, nothing unusual has happened at all. What is unusual is that this incredibly close race in Florida, Trump solidly leads by 1.5 points and 89% reporting. So we've had a tremendous number of votes counted, and he's up 148,000 votes, 4.4. Yeah. John, do you remember?
In Virginia?
Yeah.
The odds were 80% that she would take Virginia.
So, and again, now
they're not 80% anymore.
I mentioned the upshot. I mentioned the upshots running forecast of the likelihood that Clinton would win the presidency, and they'd had it at 84%. And remember, it was at 68%, like what, 20 minutes ago? 61%.
Dropping.
61% her vote total that they thought she'd win the popular vote by 4 points. Then it dropped 3.8. Now it's fluctuating right around 3%. Now it's down to 60% likelihood that Clinton wins the presidency.
Okay, so I'm bad with technology. Oh, thanks, God. Okay, my internet went down just now, and so I was about to lose my mind. Okay, so luckily your internet has not gone down. By the way, if anything does happen to the stream, because we're now really at record numbers here, you go immediately to our at the Young Turks on Twitter to get updates on what's going to happen next with the stream. So far, no problems, thank God. If there are any, at the Young Turks on Twitter, and you'll get messages on what's going to happen.
New Hampshire has been totally tied up, 100% tied
Oh,
up. 64,
200
votes for Clinton.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
It's still early.
No, this is bad. This is
gender gap?
Okay, Mark, and so it drives me crazy. So
5 minutes?
Huffington Post would report day in, day out, she's winning big with women. And I'd always think,
5 minutes.
yeah, how about men, right?
Okay.
So there's two genders in the country. I got it. You want to celebrate and make it seem like Hillary Clinton's got a giant lead. And Huffington Post, what happened to your fucking 98.4% chance that she's going to win? Does it look like 98.4% chance? I told you were full of shit. Okay, so, and then what I would report to you guys is, yes, she has a big lead. Mark's right among women. You know what his lead was? I'm going to forget the exact number, but among white males.
No. That's fine. Let it be organic.
Shoot, I totally
Uneducated,
forget.
or
Uneducated,
college educated.
meaning like no college education white males. He had something like a monstrous 44-point lead. How come I didn't see that in the headlines of Huffington Post and the rest of the press? Because the rest of the press thinks Hillary's going to win. Hillary's going to win. Hillary's our friend. She's going to win, right?
That number's not right. I mean, you may have seen it in one poll, but it certainly wasn't true.
It showed
in
it
the
was
polls
like
at the
a
end. I read what his lead was among white men without a college education, and he led it. But so did Mitt Romney by about the same number.
Yeah. All right. Look, to give you a sense of how bad it is right now, these poll numbers, not poll numbers, actual results of the election. I told you that. Okay. Okay. So they might actually have to move this protest to Trump headquarters because he might win. Okay. Sorry, guys.
This guy. Okay. Hold up. Sorry. Bottom line.
Sorry, guys.
This guy's joining us, a freedom fighter. Now, real quick, I just want to get to the point here. I talked to a lot of people here. They gotta
and
go.
get ready to walk. You might have to walk 2 miles to Trump headquarters if he wins. So good news, bad news. Let me start with the good news.
Are they gone?
The lead in Virginia is down to 2 for Trump. 86% reporting. Okay.
61,000 votes. I'm trying to find those votes.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you, sir?
It's not easy.
It's not easy?
Okay.
Oh, by the way, here's what Ben means by finding the votes. Okay, this is really, really important. So there are really blue parts of Virginia, really red parts of Virginia. It depends on which parts are reporting, okay? And so what Ben is trying, and so when he says, I'm having trouble finding the votes in Virginia, well, that's not good news. It's not over, but that's not good news, okay? So for example,
what is clear is that Virginia is going to go probably a half point either direction. Somebody's going to win by less than 1 point in Virginia.
Guys, hold on 1 second. I got to give one more thing here. It is panic time. New Hampshire has flipped. He's now leading 48-47. So he's leading in Florida, Virginia, New Hampshire, North Carolina, and Ohio is now an 8-point lead for Trump.
They're going to call
with 42% reporting. So Ohio is gone and soon to be gone. Okay, so we're not freaked out by Ohio, but you should be freaked out by Virginia and New Hampshire being this bad.
And like little things, Wisconsin and Michigan, they're still early, but he's winning in both Wisconsin and Michigan, and all of this is consistent, which is.
And by the way, there's 2 ticking time bombs here. One is this lead. In these states. The other is percentage reporting. So every time I see one more percentage reporting in Florida and Virginia, and he's still holding his lead, tick, 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 you're running out of votes to count. So now Virginia's up to 87% reporting. He's still got over a 2-point lead. And in Florida, 92% reporting. He's still got the lead. Okay, New Hampshire still just 20% reporting. North Carolina, 49% reporting plus early voting. He's got a 1-point lead.
Here's what just happened. And this thing was at 80% 2 hours ago when we were talking the upshot in the New York Times forecast of who's likely to win. Donald Trump, now the favorite to win the presidency, 51%.
Jesus.
Some chance that it goes back and forth between Clinton and Trump at around in the 270s for popular vote. It could obviously switch again. But that's how dramatic this is. That also sets up a possibility that I didn't think was possible because the forecasters said it was likely impossible, which was that Trump could win the presidency and Clinton could win the popular vote. No, that was always possible. Sorry, Trump could win the presidency and Clinton win the popular vote because they still have Clinton a likely 2-point winner in the popular vote because they're thinking she'll run up big margins. This model has her winning. Trump now at 53% forecast to be the president of the United States. It increases literally with every moment that a state like Virginia gets closer to being called for Trump.
Wow. This is the most haunting thing I have ever had, we've ever had on the Young Turks. 14 years we've been on the air, and we thought John Kerry was going to win in 2004. Me being wrong in 2004 about John Kerry stung me for so long, and not to get overexcited about your own side and to take all the bullshit that your own side puts out. That's the same bullshit that the Republicans believed about Mitt Romney winning. Okay, but this is Trump. We are talking about a madman, incompetent buffoon being the most powerful man on earth. He now has a better than 50% chance.
And when you look at all...
So it's not over, guys, because she can win Florida. I've always had a little bit of hope about Florida, but now she's got to win Florida. Look, again, the lead in Virginia is down to 1.4.
1.3.
1.3 with 88% reporting.
30, no, that's Florida. I was looking at the
Okay, so, but North Carolina now looking worse every minute. He's now built up over a 2-point lead. Remember, she had the lead in the beginning.
41,000 votes in Virginia need to be found.
Broward's now at 75% too. I don't think
so that is not good news. Okay, and so look, some people think that hey, Cenk likes to be proven right or something. No, when I say I hope to God I'm wrong, I really, really, really mean it. Right? So there's no joy here. I'm serious, man. Like my heart is constricting. So, and I don't like to say that because then the right wing gets so happy about it, like, oh yeah, ha ha ha. And God knows what the is going to happen with Trump as president and what kind of damage that they could do, right? But I came in today with all the new polls leading in Hillary Clinton's direction, thinking, oh, thank God I was wrong. Well, by the way, I could still be wrong. I thought Hillary Clinton would win by a tiny margin. I didn't think she was going to lose. And here we are. So the rage in the fucking country is real. When are they going to get it through their fucking heads? But they won't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. No. All my friends in Washington think she's going to win. Now, look, I'm being a dick because to be fair, polling was indicating she was going to win. I thought she was going to win this morning, right? So the polling is relevant, and she could still win. But it was also real that people want to throw a brick through the establishment window, and the Democrats keep saying, no. Let's go with an establishment candidate. Let's go with S.D.N.Y. Let's go with Patrick Murphy. Oh, by the way, they're 6 feet under. They're done. They lost already. They lost miserably because all your stupid corporatists, you know what they're doing? Look here. Now you've turned the Democratic Party into the establishment party. You've got a populist, but not in the Democratic Party. You've got him in the Republican Party. Now, he's a fake populist. I know that, right? But people want a populist. They want a populist. When is it going to get you through your fucking skull? But instead, we've got S.D.N.Y., we've got Patrick Murphy, we've got Hillary Clinton. And they were so goddamn convinced that the American people like the status quo. Well, guess what? Newsflash, they don't fucking like it.
Yeah, there's a huge disconnect between the establishment and the electorate. They have no idea what the electorate actually wants. I can't even believe how this is going so far. And this is why I don't obsess about the polls. Yes, they're relevant. Yes, they're interesting to you guys. But I never look at the polls and think, oh, you know what, Hillary has a comfortable lead according to all of these polls put together and analyzed together. It doesn't mean anything, okay?
It means something.
It means something, but it's not the end-all, be-all. People get comfortable. I think the establishment gets comfortable. They look at Nate Silver and they think, oh yeah, Nate Silver's got it going on. He knows what he's talking about. But there are issues with the methodology, as Cenk perfectly pointed out right now. You can't get comfortable. I am scared to death right now.
Well, let's have a couple of...
By the way, as we were talking, 54% chance that Donald Trump wins. They moved while we were talking. It just moved again.
Maybe we should stop talking.
55% chance Donald Trump is going to win right now.
Stop saying the number. You madman.
So now that said, I have numbers which struck me as fairly encouraging. First of all, there are a lot of votes left in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Hillary Clinton has a 113,000 vote lead with only a quarter counted. That's a lot of votes that she could pile on if those numbers came in at the same rate, which would take a lead in North Carolina. Virginia,
that's very close.
Virginia has unquestionably, those votes have come in and has gotten close. Virginia, the lead is now 24,000.6. So
let me be clear about that. Virginia is super, super, super important. For you, for those of you who follow the percentages better than the raw numbers like me, the percentage is down to just 0.6. So that's the first encouraging thing I've heard in a long, long time.
It's just a fun little.
So
it's all in good fun. It's just a few.
Well, it's not fun if Trump wins.
It's like a 4-team parlay now, and they reflect each other. They don't happen in a vacuum. If support for Trump is greater in Virginia, she's going to run into the same problems. We start counting Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. It's just to win all of those, just to maintain the firewall to let us get to Colorado and Nevada and hope. And New Hampshire, too, which is also losing. So there are 5 things that can go wrong now, and we're trying to turn Virginia first so we can take a breath.
Okay, the chance of Trump winning the presidency, according to the New York Times, is now 58%.
58%.
Okay. I'm going to give you...
We did it 100,000. That's...
Yeah. So
something.
The only good news is, I guess, for us, and I don't mean Trump winning and all that nonsense theories about how if Donald Trump wins, then you guys will get more viewers. No, we get more viewers no matter what happens, okay? I don't need goddamn Donald Trump to win. But yes, and you know us, man. We never BS you. If it was a cakewalk, we tell you it's a cakewalk. A lot of the guys on TV are like, oh, anything can happen. No. And in the morning, we came in, told you, Hillary Clinton's up in the polls, up 4 points nationally. It looks good. Now, it doesn't look good. And it is definitely not over on either side. She's closing in Virginia, only down 0.6, okay?
0.5.
And now 0.5 with 90%
16,000 votes.
See, she can, look, and then what might happen, by the way, this is a perfectly plausible scenario. She pulls out Virginia and Florida. Now, it's possible, right? And then she wins with over 300 electoral votes, and everybody goes, it was just nothing. It was just, we knew it all along. We knew she was going to win easy, right? And then I'm going to want to strangle them, because even if she pulls those out and goes over 300 electoral votes, this was not easy.
Right, it's not but also, I projected on my map that she would win Florida because I thought it was 50-50 and her ground game would take her over. It was never she's 90% to take Florida. It's she's 51% to take Florida.
Yeah,
there's nothing easy about that. It's just an expectation that at the end, it's slightly better than 50-50.
12,000 votes in Virginia.
Okay,
so
that's good news. That's good news. That's good news. Let me give you bad news. Okay,
you dick.
Okay, Republicans controlling the Senate. We were told, oh no, Democrats are going to win the Senate. Now, 83% likely that the Republicans keep the Senate. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the Democratic Party is totally incompetent.
And if this doesn't disrupt establishment politicians and make them realize that people hate you so much that they're willing to elect an openly racist bigot like Donald Trump, I don't know if there's any hope for you if you don't get it through your head.
Okay,
Trump's now at 59%, by the way.
Really, I mean, look, anything could change really fast. This is from Virginia.gov. She's up by 0.15% in Virginia.
Okay, so that's great because that keeps the firewall alive. But here's what's not going to happen.
Well,
Florida, the votes aren't there. The numbers aren't there. You can't do it, John. There's no.
No, I know. Like I said, the percentage of reporting for Broward kept going up, but the votes weren't going up.
So I think
Florida
still got
25%, but
I got you.
She's not going to catch up.
But she's behind by. She's down 140,000 votes. I don't see 140,000 votes there in South Florida.
No, there's still everything like 40 counties in Palm Beach.
I got you. But we look at those numbers. She's up by 100 and she's up by 95,000.
Okay, guys. So she still needs New Hampshire or Nevada. She needs one of those.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, we sweated Virginia. We're gonna frickin' sweat Michigan. We're gonna sweat Michigan.
Can't you wait until we sweat it?
No, because I mean, yes, of course, I know what you're saying, and I got it. But we talked about it. They knew.
Okay, I'm calling Ohio. So nobody else has called it yet. I'm calling it. It's a 10-point lead with 51% reporting, 53-43 for Trump. Trump's going to win Ohio. So Ohio is now gone. Okay? So that's, okay, don't panic over that. He was supposed to win Ohio. He wasn't supposed to win it by 10. So that you should panic.
He probably won't win it by 10.
Probably,
but, yeah, right.
but the fact that he's got a 10-point lead with 51% reporting. Okay, here, that's another thing. If you told me, hey, Cenk, it's 9:51 Eastern, Trump is winning by 10 points in Ohio with 51% reporting, I would have said, ah! Okay, not because you're going to lose Ohio. You expect to lose Ohio, but not good numbers if you want to hang on to Pennsylvania, Michigan, and the states around there. So, look, we haven't talked about Pennsylvania in a long, long time because we think the numbers are so incomplete. But, okay, we need something encouraging. So she's got a giant lead right now in Pennsylvania, 57-40, with only 26% reporting, okay? So that is not going to hold. She's not going to win by 17. But good, with 26% reporting, a 17-point lead.
And Philly isn't particularly in yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It looks like less than 10% of Philadelphia is
There's
reporting.
a lot. I don't think North Carolina is. Is done either.
Okay, but he does have a 2.4% lead in North Carolina with 55% reporting. Okay, we've got to take a quick 2-minute break here, but 95% in Florida, he's got a 1.5-point lead. 90% in Virginia, and it's about tied. North Carolina, he's got a 2.4% lead. And as we go to the break here, New York Times has the chance of Donald Trump winning the presidency at 59%. 59%.
What happened in this country?
We'll be. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more information. All right. The only good news I have to report is that the Young Turks live stream's up to 112,000 viewers. Keep it going. Let's Beat TV. Keep it going. Can I see 200,000? Okay. Now I've got my New York Times likelihood of winning updating, because I had to switch out and refresh on my iPad here. Trump, and it goes, and it kept going. It's like 50, 51, 52, 50. 61% chance of winning for Donald Trump.
This is insane. This is insane.
We got
87% chance that the Republicans are going to keep the Senate, in which case they would have Trump, the Senate, and the House.
And the Supreme Court.
Oh, and all the Supreme Court.
And the Supreme Court.
Wow.
We won't switch it over for the first time in an entire generation to liberal, and assuming Clarence Thomas steps down and possibly one of the, if Ruth Bader Ginsburg steps down, we could have the most conservative Supreme Court since Dred Scott, possibly.
Okay, guys, man, it's doomsday scenario here, and so it isn't over, and now Hillary Clinton has taken the lead in Virginia. She still has the lead in Pennsylvania. Remember, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Colorado, and either New Hampshire or Nevada wins her the race. So we could have now a come-from-behind victory for Hillary Clinton in that sense. But by the way, that's not where you wanted to be.
Michael Schor says Fox has called Virginia for Clinton.
Really?
He's a reliable source.
Yeah, well, again, they're gonna. It's because they know where those last votes are. Then she's taking the lead, and she caught him, and those votes were there. So that also suggests that maybe that'll happen in North Carolina. Though, as I said, there are votes out there in North Carolina. Since I said that, he's increased his lead from about 85,000 votes to 100,000 votes in North Carolina. She's also narrowed the gap in Florida to where she's down 115,000 votes. But that's still.
Cenk,
imagine that it would.
But you're probably right.
But I mean, I'm thinking we're missing the story for the 100th time. She's going to, in my gut, tells me she's going to lose Michigan. She's going to lose Michigan. She lost Michigan already once, and she's going to lose Michigan again. Or at the bare minimum in Michigan, we are going to have the experience that we've just endured with Virginia, where we're going to be like, please, Detroit.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let me.
Detroit's split evenly right now.
So this is
that right?
Yeah. Okay. If she has won Virginia, that is really good news, and I would flip it back to, this is not the New York Times, this is me, I would flip her back to being the favorite, but by the hair on our chinny chin,
not
right?
Not hers.
Not hers.
Yeah.
Ours. And so, but now Ben's got me panicked about Michigan. because if she's in good shape to win Pennsylvania, for what it's worth. If she's got Virginia, I still am confident about Colorado. I'm not as confident about New Hampshire or Nevada, and never have been. But she could win all those, and if she loses Michigan, she still loses.
Yeah, and by the way, and just for fun, New Hampshire, and while we're talking about Wisconsin, don't presume Wisconsin.
Well, if she loses Wisconsin, she's gone. It's
okay,
gone,
but I mean,
right?
but it's again, there's no reason why Virginia would be close and not Wisconsin. The lead was the same or greater in Virginia than it was in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is the same as the demographic makeup of Michigan, which we know got incredibly close, and Ohio. These states don't have nothing to do with each other.
Okay, New York Times does not agree with me, and Ben is making great points about Wisconsin, Michigan, etc. They now have Trump at 64% chance of winning.
Jesus Christ!
Okay,
Almighty. I mean,
yeah. So look, New Hampshire is now slipping away. 3% lead now for Trump. She had led now with 36% reporting. He has a 3-point lead.
Yeah, it's 2.5 points, and it's only 7,000 votes, less than 7,000 votes, and there's 36% reporting. But yeah, she's losing, and but there's a lot to count there, and it's very close still.
So there's only 36% reporting in Pennsylvania, and she still has a big lead of 14 points, right? But there's something wrong with those numbers. She's not going to win Pennsylvania by 14.
Not given everything else. No.
Yeah. So now, on the other hand, there's 56% reporting in Ohio, and he's up by 10. Those Ohio numbers do not bode well for Michigan, okay, or Wisconsin.
That's right.
So now all of a sudden our problem is Michigan and Wisconsin. And so, all right, Jimmy, okay, assume for a second that she holds on to Wisconsin. She can lose Michigan, but if she wins North Carolina... No, and that's
Michigan and North Carolina are a push. They're the 15. Yeah.
Then she's back to needing just New Hampshire or Nevada to win.
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, there's a lot of different scenarios here. I had 6 toss-up states, and Michigan and Wisconsin were nowhere near them. So we're in bad shape in that regard. Look, guys, it's 50-50, man. It's now we're past 10 o'clock Eastern. It's 50-50. So 538 has her at 72. New York Times has him at 66. And the reality is, I can see the map. I don't need them to tell me, right? So she's good. It looks like she's going to win Virginia. That's great news. Look, we thought she was going to lose just like half an hour ago. We thought she was going to lose Virginia, and then good night, Irene. Good night, Robichaud. You're done. Right? So you're not done now. You're not done. She's back in the race. So, and Florida is not a foregone conclusion. And Michigan is not a foregone conclusion. It's anybody's race right now. Anybody's race. There's only 36% reporting in New Hampshire, 38%. Now the lead for Trump is down to 1 in New Hampshire. Anybody's game. I would say I've never seen an election this close, except I have, and it was 2000. So
that worked out fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's time. This is a confirmation that the country is. It's just crazy. We knew it in the primaries. I didn't know it was this bad. I said the other day, I think Monday, I said, I don't see people getting off their couch to vote for Hillary Clinton. Then we'll get off their couch to vote against Donald Trump. But I think there are more people willing to get off their couch to vote for him because people are, it's a misread to think that the people in the country aren't hurting as bad as they've ever been hurting, right? I've said people are working 2 and 3 jobs. People are crushed with student debt, and the establishment doesn't give a fuck. They don't care, right? And so this, even with all those Republicans coming on her side, this is still how much people hate her. I still think she's going to win this election, but it's even surprising me. It's even surprising me. And I don't know what happens to the Democratic Party going forward, but let's not get ahead of ourselves because I still think she's going to win.
Okay. But that is, New York Times has got it up to 73% likelihood that Trump wins.
And 538-72 for Clinton. But I don't know if that's
the best news.
Why are they overestimating based on everything that we've been talking about? Why is the New York Times overestimating the probability of Trump winning if we all have access to the same information?
No, so here's where we disagree.
So, and I have a Senate call when you're...
Okay, so...
Sounds like it's good news.
By the way, in the Senate now,
the Senate's over.
They're going to keep it. It's now
72
3%
72 for 5.
So, John, make the call.
So,
calls are most important.
If you could bring up graphic 40A, this is according to Fox. Now, they've called things prematurely in the past, but this one's probably going to go in this direction. Graphic 40A. Suspense.
Is this Missouri?
Is
this Missouri?
Just go ahead.
Okay, no, this is going to be North Carolina going for Richard Burr, the guy who said he loved that Hillary Clinton's face was on the cover of a gun magazine.
That tells me that there's no comeback for Hillary Clinton in North Carolina either.
Okay, it's looking bad.
Clinton is projected winner in New Mexico. It's one less state to worry about.
Yeah, it is. That matters.
Okay.
Arizona right now with the very initial, well, not initial, over 1 million votes counted. It's basically tied 583,000 to 576,000.
And it might turn out that we were right, that the slight difference that puts her over the top is that they worked harder to get the vote out. And that might be the case in Nevada. That might. Bad news, as I'm saying here, is
sorry, my apologies.
Is that now 99% of Florida is reporting, and he still has the lead.
Oh, you know, Florida's done. Florida's done. We're done.
Okay, New Hampshire, the lead is back up to 3 points.
For votes to come in to switch this in North Carolina, but we're getting to the point where there's just not enough votes. 132,000 votes down in North Carolina. She's going to make up a bunch around Charlotte, but I would be surprised, as I said in Florida, if you'll remember, those votes aren't there, and I can't find them. And
the New York Times has Trump almost 80% to win, 78% to win.
Yep.
And more and more states in their projections go into the red.
Pennsylvania now only a 9-point lead for Hillary Clinton, with 43% reporting. Yep. Montana's been called. It's not a surprise. But,
I already put it on the board.
Okay, Montana goes to Trump as expected. Soon we're going to have to start changing the dialogue to what happens in the Trump presidency. Oh God. Okay, we're not there yet, but we're getting there.
This country is so embarrassing.
Just keep in mind that we've allowed our.
So America, as we now have an 80% chance that Donald Trump is going to be the next president. Congratulations, torture's back.
So, and that, man, we won. You know why they won North Carolina if it ends up being 50,000 votes? Because they don't let a bunch of black people vote in North Carolina. And every state of which Democrats inexplicably allowed Republicans to control legislature after legislature after legislature, they're going to pass these voting rights laws. And hopefully they'll come in front of some judge somewhere that was appointed by a normal person, and that judge might overturn it for a moment until it gets to the Supreme Court, when they'll be like, hey, each state, it's totally, to prevent voter fraud, it's totally reasonable to make you have an ID. And it'll become harder and harder and harder to vote, and all the voting will be on Election Day, and there won't be any early voting. All these things that make sense, that make participation in democracy easy and necessary for Americans, and they'll restrict it because.
So,
do you guys remember his tax plan that he proposed?
All right, guys. New York Times has his chance of winning at 80% now, and the chance of the Republicans keeping the Senate is now 95%. So they're going to have all the levers of power. In a little bit, we're going to talk about what that means. So what I was just about to say on air is, I wonder what they're thinking at Trump headquarters, because they must be jubilant. Because this is, look, everybody's got their own bubble, but it's not like they could have had some bubble where they thought they were going to win, but they saw the other bubbles. They saw the media saying 98% chance, 94% chance. They saw all that. So in their heart of hearts, they didn't really think they were going to win. That's why Trump was making excuses up until this morning, okay? So now, all of a sudden, they must be like, oh my God, we're going to win? Oh. Like,
I mean,
oh my God.
I mean, I think among the
I mean, any type of freedom you enjoy right now is basically in jeopardy. It's in danger. And
well, guys, we've got an 80% chance that not America, the world is about to hit the iceberg.
Yep.
If you thought Brexit was bad, wait till you get fucking Brexit, right? When Trump hits, when this ship hits that iceberg, oh man, I don't know. I'll tell you this: you got money in the stock market, your
stock market
fortune is. Oh, sorry.
Stock market is plummeted.
Yeah.
Of course, it's your money is instantly that your pensions, etc. It is going to be in shambles.
He said he'd default.
Okay, instantly.
It's a bleak night. It really is a bleak night.
Nate Silver, by the way, I just was going to repeat, I didn't want to interrupt you before because he had it at 60% for Clinton, and then you finished talking and tossed to Mark, and it went down to 55%, and then Mark talked for 45 seconds, and now it's 44%. So now, 538 with a much more significant chance than the New York Times, but now there is an agreement that the favorite to win the presidency is Donald Trump.
Okay, iceberg straight ahead. Okay, now also straight ahead, Michael.
I mean, I'm totally shocked. I got this thing completely wrong so far. But again, the night is not over, and I don't know what these percentages mean. I just know that the stock market's going way down, and that's the thing I've been following.
It looks like they're getting ready, and they should, because right now New York Times has them as a 80% favorite. But by the way, guys, this race is not over, okay? So there is still a possibility that she holds on in exactly the way that I said, which is holds Virginia, Pennsylvania, Colorado, and New Hampshire. That is, or Nevada. That is still possible. 20%, just like 20% for Trump was not impossible, right? That's what we said on the Young Turks. Just because Trump has a 20% chance of winning doesn't mean that he's not going to win. He might. Same thing right now for Hillary Clinton. Just because she has a 20% chance of winning doesn't mean she's not going to. And by the way, Nate Silver has at a 44% chance of winning. So this race is nowhere near over. Having said that, Michael, you were very bullish on Hillary Clinton's chances. What do you think went wrong here? So North Carolina is at 50.4 to 47, and so that's really bad. Really bad. Precipice of being called. John, Ohio's called, right?
Yes, for Trump.
Ohio's called for Trump. Now, I called it earlier, so if you're relying on me, you were right. But now others have joined that call. Ohio is gone. That's Trump. Okay. John, can you pull up some of these numbers
what here? What are you looking
for? Give us the Florida. I know you guys say Florida's pretty much done.
I mean, he's up by 1.5% with 1% left to report.
So
he's up by 140,000 votes right now.
Okay, yeah. So that is
probably
this close to being called for Trump, because the raw numbers there matter. If you only have 1% left and making up 140,000 votes is very, very difficult. So let us assume now that Florida is gone. Now that limits your options greatly. Has anyone else called Virginia other than Fox News?
Yeah, multiple places have called.
So Virginia is now solidly Hillary Clinton.
I believe CNN and Breaking News both did.
So Hillary Clinton has won Virginia. It is called, okay? So that's great news. And then give me Pennsylvania real quick.
Pennsylvania, she's still up by 5 points, and it's 55% reporting.
So the good news out of there is 55% reporting. Now that's a solid number. The bad news is it's down to a 5-point lead. Remember, she had the 17-point lead, then the 9-point lead, then the 7-point lead, now down to a 5-point lead. So it's not trending great. And so with him likely winning Florida and North Carolina, options foreclosed. The only thing left is the Uyghur path. Virginia, Pennsylvania, Colorado, and either New Hampshire or Nevada. That appears to be her chances. And in that scenario, she still has to hold Michigan and Wisconsin. As I look at the map here, that is still leaning red. If Michigan or Wisconsin goes red, you call the election.
So they're saying...
This is the first time I have ever been physically scared during an election. I don't know what happens to the United States if Donald Trump wins. I don't think anyone knows, because we don't know what his plan is. And
I don't think he knows what his plan is.
They apparently called Colorado for Clinton.
Thank God. Colorado's been called for Clinton. So Virginia and Colorado on the map. Now her lead in Pennsylvania is down to 4. But if she holds Pennsylvania, then hold on, because all she needs is New Hampshire or Nevada. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Come on, Nevada.
I know, seriously.
Assuming she wins Michigan and Wisconsin.
And they will be unstopped. Every branch of government dominated. All the states State legislatures, for the most part, dominated by Republicans. Governorships, mostly Republicans. Imagine what this country will look like after 4 or 8 years of Republicans getting what they've sworn so much that they've wanted. Donald Trump has not hidden his plans. It was clear to us. And now we get to see what happens when...
Oh, boy. Okay. We got Newt Gingrich, Secretary of State. It's a list that was already put out. It leaked to NBC News by the Trump team. Giuliani as Attorney General.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Okay, he said I'm going to bring stop and frisk back. I mean, Alonzo, Jesus Christ.
So it's unfortunate, but it may be what America wants, or worse, dare I say, what America deserves.
It is really interesting that...
Wisconsin's not a swing state. Michigan's not a swing state. Wrong. So let's take a look here. I haven't given you these numbers in a while, and they are not good. Wisconsin, 48% reporting. That's a lot reporting. He has a lead, 48.3 to 46.5. He's got about a 2-point lead with nearly half of Wisconsin reporting. Bad news. Michigan, 38% reporting. He's got a 4-point lead, 49.5 to 45.5. Hey, anybody remember who did really well in Michigan in an unexpected way? That's goddamn right. It was Bernie Sanders. But we were told that we're not smart. All right, slight good news. As I was talking, numbers got updated, and now his lead is down to 3 points in Michigan. So he had a 4-point lead, now down to 3 points, still just 38% reporting. So she can close. She can win Michigan and Wisconsin. She can still win all the states that we were talking about. But let me tell you something. If she does, it's not really a comeback because we all voted earlier, okay? And then the votes get counted, so doesn't happen in real time. But in terms of how it is perceived and how it would be in our world, right, as we're looking at this today, it would be a hell of a comeback. She's a prohibitive underdog at this point. So I've got a lot more ramifications. Oh, wow. For the Trump presidency, brace for impact. New York Times now saying the chance of a Trump presidency is 92%. Brace for impact. Okay.
How nervous?
I'm Huffington Post. What happened to your 98.4%? What happened to you? They said they was at 98.4%. And I keep picking on them.
Well, that
but they
leaves
were not
almost
alone.
2% chance.
They were not alone. All the idiots in Washington and New York. Oh, you guys are worried about nothing. You're worried about nothing. All your talk of populism and the country being mad at the establishment. They're not mad at the establishment. No, we got this thing. We got it. And I guarantee you what they're thinking right now at the DNC is, goddamn Bernie Sanders. Okay, and his supporters.
No, but that's
you know
the amazing thing, right?
Yep.
They're going to go ahead and blame him and his supporters for demanding something different from the status quo, when in reality, the DNC is responsible for this. The DNC took a huge role, or had a huge role, in what happened tonight. There was a candidate that represented, a populist ideology that would actually work in favor of the majority of Americans. But they went out of their way to manipulate the primaries to ensure that he did not win the nomination. So that's part of the reason why we're here, a huge part of the reason why we're here right now.
And
so here we are. Thanks a lot. As we speak here about almost at 11 o'clock Eastern in our live coverage, Donald Trump has a 92% chance of becoming the next president. 93% chance. And I just cannot emphasize it to you enough. Donald Trump is a buffoon. He's a reality show star. We just handed the keys to the kingdom to a guy who is a clown. I want change, any change. Yeah. The only people offering me change are the Republicans. All right, I'll go for that, right? And so now, buckle up. You're going to get change.
So
we'll get to that as well. And when we come back, more bad news because Michigan and Wisconsin trending badly, New Hampshire trending badly, and so North Carolina nearly gone, as we've been telling you, almost done now.
I believe Fox News is called North Carolina.
Fox News is called North Carolina. I was going to call North Carolina earlier. It's done. North Carolina is gone. So that those dreams are at an end. So she still has a chance. It's not a good one. The terror. Well, you know, we call this place Rebel Headquarters, and we were rebelling against the establishment. And now this will be true Rebel Headquarters as Trump and his cronies begin their march against our freedoms. So, look, we're going to do analysis on the extent of the damage that could be done once the election is called, and it is not going to be pretty. And so it's not done yet, but the insane are about to take over the asylum. So we're this close.
Can I give a couple of quick updates?
Yeah.
Some of these are done, some are not done. So, I mean, we said that Florida was called, I believe.
2 weeks ago.
He should easily win this.
James Comey.
Yeah, and Zephyr Teachout is down by 6 points in New York. Super strong progressive, down by 6 points in this crazy country we have.
But look, guys, and when they did, they voted against every Democrat they saw. And so that's why the Republicans are going to hold the Senate, they're going to hold the House, and now we're on the verge of a political bloodbath. So now there are no liberals left to defend us, right? So, yeah, but I told you, every strategy they had was stupid. They kept saying, oh, we're going to emphasize how bad Trump is. For the people voting for Trump, that wasn't the bug, it was the feature. And you kept advertising it for him. Hey, look at this guy. He's against all the guys you're against. Oh, thanks for letting me know. I guess I'll show up and vote, right? No, you had to hit him on what a loser he was, what an incompetent he was. But they never bothered to go to that strategy. Oh, we'll tell you one more time what a bigot he is. No, tell us about his bankruptcies. You never talked about his bankruptcies. You never talked about any of the obstruction they did, and the press called it even. And now we're going to get a conservative Supreme Court. And you know, and you think the Democrats will hold strong? Here, I got news for you. They won't. They will buckle, and they'll buckle super, super easy because they're a party of weaklings. And that is not by accident. It is by design. Because what do the donors fund? They fund strong right-wingers and weak Democrats. So the Democrats will go, oh, God, there was nothing I could do. Oh, the Republican Congress or the Republicans made me do this. Okay, you win. Let's do more tax cuts for corporations, etc. So that is what the donors fund. If the donors see a strong Democrat, they run from the building. They go, whoa, that sounds like a radical. That sounds like a populist. That sounds like somebody who might raise my taxes by 1%. I'm going to go ahead and fund the weakest Democrats in the world. And so that is the system that produces this. So now it looks like, as Trump is on the verge of victory here tonight, that you're going to have a conservative Supreme Court for God knows how long. Because not only is there an empty seat, but there's a lot of old Supreme Court justices. Okay, you should have talked about what an imbecile he is. You should have taken away any pride he had. You should have talked about all he had was daddy's money so that the people going in there to vote wouldn't have thought this is a strong man who's going to go after our enemies. They would have thought this is a pathetic guy who couldn't manage his way out of a paper bag. They let this incompetent win. Talk about how historically pathetic the Democratic Party is. That they let this guy, who has never had any success in business, he's had a track record of monumental failure, and they let him win the presidency and become the most powerful. The Democratic Party is gone. Before the election, we talked about, oh, there might be a Republican civil war. I didn't talk about it, but the rest of the press couldn't stop talking about it. Oh, what will the Republicans do, right? No. The question is, what's the Democratic Party going to do to rise from the ashes? Because they are in ashes. And I'll tell you this right now. We are in total war, okay? I'm not talking about the Republican Party. Yeah, sure. I'm happy to be at war with them. I'm happy to be at war with Trump, and it looks like I'm going to be for 4 years. But I'm at war with the Democratic Party, this corporatist, weak, spineless, pathetic party that lets the imbeciles on the Republican side walk all over this country, that handed power to a raging, not just bigot, but an incompetent. The last time we had one like that, what do we have? The Iraq War, Hurricane Katrina, and the Great Recession. We're going to have it again, and it's because the Democratic Party doesn't know how to win because they're paid to lose. And I'm done with the losers, and I'm done with those donors. I don't give a what the donors want. Okay? So the DNC, you think we're coming for you? You're goddamn right we're coming for you. We're going to pulverize the DNC. We're going to rip it to shreds so that none of those idiot loser corporatists could ever screw up an election like this again. So, yes, we are at war now. So even if by some miracle here, as we're past 11 o'clock Eastern in our live coverage, by some miracle Hillary Clinton wins, I don't care. We're still at war. We're still at war because you are this close to handing Trump ultimate power on this planet. Are you insane, you pathetic losers? I'm tired of you taking money to lose. No, we're going to go to war. We're going to shred them. I'm done with all of them. So rise up, everybody. Rise up. Okay? And by the way, you know what the goddamn answer is. Get money out of politics. With money in politics, this is the disaster that we had. Because it wasn't just that they bought the Republican Party. The most important thing was they bought the Democratic Party. You think there's a better way to get money out of politics? For God's sake, join it today. Join whatever you think is the right cause today. Because here's what's not coming to the rescue. The Democratic Party. They are not coming to the rescue. They're a bunch of pathetic losers who are groveling to their donors for what's next. Go to war. Go to war. Because we know how to do politics. They don't know how to do politics. We do because we're not beholden to the donors. You know what we do? We actually appeal to voters. We're gonna go after them in every conceivable way. And so they think I'm the enemy. Yeah, goddamn right I'm your enemy if you keep taking that goddamn donor money and destroying this country. New York Times now has it at?
Like 95%.
Called North Carolina.
95% chance that Donald Trump is going to be
at
president.
11, 538 still had it at 50-50. It's now 37%.
North Carolina has been called. It goes to Donald Trump. And Wisconsin and Michigan still leaning red. Brought to you by the morons at the Democratic Party.
He's got bankruptcies. He's a failed businessman, blah, blah, blah. They didn't go after any of that. They went after the name calling and the emotional stuff, the sexist, racist stuff, and it didn't work. And
whether it's, and by the way, mainstream media, I got to stop ranting about you because you're on the precipice of death. You're becoming so goddamn irrelevant. So you and your pathetic predictions, and nobody's saying, hey, we're going to war. Nobody's saying, hey, oh my God, this was a monumental, grotesque failure of the Democratic Party that every single person at the DNC should be fired because they're not that animated. They don't care. Oh, I'm a news actor. What does it say in the prompter? Let me read the goddamn prompter. I get paid for this. Am I still getting $10 million a year? Great. Let me read the goddamn prompter. So tick-tock, 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 okay? So keep on reading your stupid-ass script. We're going to murder you, okay? We're going to end you. We're going to finish you, okay? Because we're authentic, and you are a bunch of actors, and you don't care about the news, and so it's only a matter of time. So good night and good luck with that.
Well, I just can't get over the fact that
in Pennsylvania, Clinton has a 2.3% lead with 81% reporting. That is good news, okay? So, look, the lead was much, much larger, but that was never real. They just hadn't counted the Republican parts yet, which means she can still win. Yes, it's only a 5% chance now, but she can still win. But in order to do so, she has to win Wisconsin and Michigan, which we previously thought was not an issue, but it most certainly is an issue now. In Michigan, with 53% reporting, he has a 1.9% lead. Look, these are not over, okay? So that's a lot of votes still left to count in Michigan, and his lead is only about 2 points. In Wisconsin, we've got 65% reporting. His lead is 3 points. That is more troubling. It is a larger lead, and it is more people reporting, okay? Okay, maybe Alonzo's right. Maybe this is who America is.
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn to fight dirty. You got to fight on that. You got to get down on the ground and scrap with these people, and they don't do it.
For whatever it's worth, I think it's worth a lot. 538 has just a 61% chance that Trump wins, and
we got this whole way. He never released his taxes.
Never, the guy running for president never released taxes. He didn't pay taxes. We know he said it. He didn't pay taxes. That's why he didn't release it.
I crunched some numbers. I think a third of the world population are hackers now. We couldn't get one of his tax returns. How many thousands of emails did we break down in excruciating detail to make sure that we understand? What's that?
We got one, didn't we? Good news. 13,000 votes in Michigan. Michigan's almost tied.
Oh, that is good news.
Michigan's almost tied. Again, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nevada, Washington.
I would say
possible. It's possible.
It's possible. New
Wait,
Hampshire, which is not.
I just realized, based on my prediction record, I now predict that Hillary Clinton will lose.
Okay. By the way, and in 538, the numbers they moved Clinton from 37% to 40%.
The scary thing about
that would be my guess.
God.
You know, maybe DEA head. Maybe, by the way, maybe head of the FBI. Like
By the way, keep sharing because this election's not over. Look, we've been right on a lot of things here, and so the other thing we're telling you is that the election's not over. If it was over, I'd be the first one to tell you, right? But it's not. Again, most of the press is now swung to an overreaction that it's over. I've maintained all night that Nate Silver is closest to right. He was closest to right going in. He's been closest to right in not panicking in either direction. So, and I'm not trying to delude you here. Her chances are still slim. You still got to run the table. But she can win Michigan, Wisconsin, and then either New Hampshire or Nevada, and she wins. And she's got to hold Pennsylvania, right? So that's a lot of ifs, but it's not out of the question, right? And by the way, that changes none of my commentary from tonight. We're going to war against the DNC no matter what, because if they survive this, the lesson is not let's go more in that direction. No. The building has to be torn down, okay? Whether they survive it or not, whether we survive it, the world survives it or not. And by the way, think about if she comes back and wins. Now, every conservative in the country is going to say rigged. Because they're going to think, because they're not smart, they're going to think, we had it. New York Times told me I had a 95% chance of winning. And then at the end, no, it doesn't work that way. You vote and then you count. The count is what's coming in, right? Not the voting. And at the end, they stole it from us. Then batten down the hatches for that if that unlikely scenario happens. So, but it is not over. She can still pull out all those states, and that is not wishful thinking. It is real. Look, you know what's still possible? My exact prediction. She wins Virginia, Pennsylvania, Colorado, and she pulls out New Hampshire and gets Wisconsin and Michigan, in which case that would be the exact 272 that I predicted ahead of time.
Fox has called Wisconsin for Trump.
Really?
Well, that's that.
If Fox is right, first of all, this I'm not going for, okay? That might turn out to be completely right, but it might not. Remember last time Fox called a close election, it was a total and utter lie. So hold on Fox News calling a goddamn election, okay? So now if others follow suit and they call Wisconsin, it is over and he will be president.
I find it, and the numbers are terrible in Wisconsin. I mean, Michigan pulled to within, she's now down 14,000 votes in Michigan with 62% in. So let's presume things go well. It's like Virginia and she gets that. But Wisconsin with 71% in, it's 70,000 votes. You know, and in Wisconsin, 70,000 votes means a lot more than 70,000 votes in Michigan. So, I don't. My hunch is they're right. That's why.
Oh, by the way, congratulations! The largest state in the union was called for Hillary Clinton, California. Okay, and so was Oregon. So totally irrelevant at this point. But you didn't bother complaining about it. That is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So they just rolled over. Oh, well, we don't want to create any havoc. You're the ones who won the election, but yet they took the presidency. What do you mean you don't want to cause trouble? You know, Democrats never made a peep about it.
Georgia's been called for Trump.
Georgia's called. We're going to rebuild the Democratic Party to the point where they're going to be afraid of us. So enough with the weaklings. So the pendulum will swing too far, okay? And then I'll warn you about it when it gets to that point. Up until then, keep on swinging, okay? Because, look, this uneven playing field is killing us. When they do election fraud and they just, no. Now, you want to hear a radical idea? I said it a couple of days ago on the show before the election, because unlike everybody else, I wasn't taking it as a given. You do likewise. You've got Democratic mayors all across the country. You go, oh, look at that, man. Oh, my heavily Republican suburb. I got budget issues, man. I got budget issues. I shut down all of your polling stations. You shut down one of ours, we shut down 2 of yours. Just close them down. Every Democratic mayor should be closing down all those polling stations. But you know what the media will call that? Radical. How come they don't call it radical when the Republicans do it? You know what the Democratic Party will do? Oh, no. Don't do that. They close one of ours, we close 10 of theirs, okay? That's how you fight back in politics. You know why? Because do I want less people voting? No, I want everybody voting. Even if Republicans win, I want everybody voting because I'm an American and I believe in democracy. But yeah, that's goddamn right. If I close enough of your polling stations, maybe then we'll have an even conversation about closing the goddamn polling stations. But what does the Democratic Party do? Oh, please don't do that. Oh, I do declare I got a cocktail party to go to in D.C. Oh, please don't do it. You know what I want to call them. So let's just leave it at that. You guys want to play hardball? You want to play politics? Or you want to keep getting your ass handed to you by the likes of Trump, you weaklings?
Just be strong, Cenk. Just say what you want to say.
Mm-hmm. It's true, though.
Incredible.
It's true. That is a strategy that has worked for them. But get dirty.
Yeah.
Shut down polling places. Make it difficult for Republicans to vote. Scare the hell out of them. You know, bus voters in. Get some buses. Say, hey.
Deal.
Yeah, here we are.
I'm going to bring in planes, trains, and automobiles, okay? You want black people, we're going to give you black people, more than you can handle. That's how you play politics if you care to win, if you're not paid to lose like the Democrats are. Let me give you some numbers. Now we're looking at Michigan. 1.1% lead for Trump with 64% reporting. Look, I don't have the county by county. Maybe Ben has more, but that is doable. Now...
Yeah, you got it down to 30,000. It was down to 13,000. Now it's 30,000 votes in Michigan.
That's good news. What is not great news?
It was 13. Now it's gone
Wisconsin's not looking good.
Not only is Wisconsin not looking good, here comes Trump in Pennsylvania. 1.3% lead for Hillary Clinton with 79% reporting.
She's up by 67,000 votes out of 4.7 million cast. Let me see if Philadelphia has been counted. Yeah, a lot of Philadelphia has been counted. She actually has a gigantic. Basically, she's up by 446,000 votes in Philadelphia County, but essentially the whole thing's been counted.
Okay, guys, we're on the edge here. It's almost over.
A lot of votes outstanding in Pittsburgh. I think she's going to hold on in Pennsylvania.
I'm not sure she's going to hold on in Pennsylvania. And then
I'm telling you, like in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, they've counted 23% of the vote. And
okay, all right, that's good news. And she's leading. It's not like she's down in Pennsylvania.
Right,
she just has to
hold. She leads by 100,000, about 25% counted. So there could be some.
Wisconsin, 75% reporting.
Yeah, she's not going to win. That's where it's done.
49.1% to 45.7%. So that is 3.4% lead with 3/4 of the vote counted. 3.4%. That is a big lead.
74,000 votes. 74,000 votes counted in Wisconsin. And again, Fox called it. I mean, I got it. They made that. We shouldn't fall for it. They essentially decided the election in 2000 with an incorrect call. But there's no, the Fox is right. There's no votes. There's no votes there. Wisconsin is done. So the election's done. So her best case scenario, I thought her best case scenario is 269, but she's not going to win that district in Maine. So it's not even a tie. Her best case scenario is 268 without Wisconsin. That's if she runs the board on Michigan and Minnesota, unless, she reverses Arizona. And that counts, by the way, giving her New Hampshire.
Yeah. We were telling you that this race is not over. There was some outstanding chance. It's on its deathbed now. So now, if Wisconsin gets called by others, we're going to call the race. And then you think we're talking about now the ramifications. Yeah, we talked about the ramifications of the Democratic Party and what they did wrong. We have yet begun to touch on the parade of horribles and deplorables that is headed in our direction with the Trump administration. It's going to be devastating. Back on the Young Turks election coverage in a night that appears to be absolutely disastrous. So Trump, Wisconsin is on the edge of tipping the election over to Donald Trump. So not a lot of good news across the board. Not over yet, but getting close. But right now, we don't have good news really almost anywhere in those states that they absolutely need. So the only slim chance is she regains the lead in Michigan and Wisconsin, holds on in Pennsylvania, which is not a certainty, and that she wins in New Hampshire or Nevada. And just a FYI, a couple of states just got called, not important, but Idaho and Utah called for Trump, of course, and this is important. Washington called for Hillary Clinton, the state of Washington. But if that's important, then you're already in a lot of trouble.
And a couple places have called Iowa.
Yeah, and so Iowa's, it was going to go Trump.
That's right.
But now 90% reporting in Ohio, and he has a 9-point lead in Ohio. 9 points. 9 points. So they thought he was going to have a 3-point lead, about a 3-point lead heading into the election. If it's 9 points, yeah, if you outperform your polling by 6 points, you're going to win in a lot of places you weren't supposed to win.
Yeah, he's picked up 5 points in state after state after state after state. Not all of them, but many of them.
So I underestimated what I called my f*** vote, which you can call the brick vote or whatever you want to call it vote, right? But I'm done with the system. Somebody hand me a brick. Let's just call it the brick vote for sake of simplicity, right?
But at the same time, tens of millions of Americans are totally fine with a man who is driven almost purely by racism and sexism and Islamophobia, of hatred of everyone unlike him. That's right. And they want that. They went to vote for, like, it's one thing to say, oh, you shouldn't just vote against Trump. You should have something to vote for. But these people went out and voted for him. They wanted that. Their values said, yes, he is the man.
Yeah,
but there's still tens of millions of Americans who wanted nothing more than a guy who wasn't just endorsed by the KKK, but earned that endorsement. He worked for that endorsement.
Well, now white people know about the ghost that people of color have been talking about for a long time. We have been feeling this. This is no surprise to us. Now that you have numbers on it, now white people that are allies to people of color can see what we're talking about, that this is a real problem in this country. And the sexism is so deep. The sexism is worse than the racism, because you see black men being exterminated on the streets and you still let a black man in the White House. But a woman, I wore my suffrage white today. I thought we were headed somewhere. This is my suffrage white. But I'm just telling you, it's not, this is what's going to have to happen, because a lot of people are going to get their asses whooped behind this. They think these are the people of color from the 50s. You can't roll up on us like you used to roll up on us before.
The Democrats will never believe this, but I guarantee you that Bernie Sanders would have won, and easily.
Let me give a couple of interesting numbers here. Non-college white men, 72-23 for Clinton. For Trump. No surprise there.
Say it again.
72-23 for Trump.
72-23.
That's amazing.
That's almost 50 points. That's a 49-point lead.
Right, but the only thing Clinton wins is college white women, 51-45. But even that. So what's staggering is non-college white women.
45% of the women who are college educated.
Non-college white women. 62-34.
Absolutely.
28 points for non-college.
We're socialized to hate each other, and this is no surprise to me. The woman-on-woman hate that you have seen during this campaign has been downright reprehensible. But the kind of hate that this woman has gotten just because she's a woman, and I'm not trying to create excuses for her actions that have been questionable. I'm just saying simply on the fact that she is a woman, she is losing, and it's because she's a woman.
You got it maybe wrong in Pennsylvania, although Pennsylvania's tightened up massively.
No. Breaking news. He's taking the lead in Pennsylvania.
So that's and then there's a lot of votes. Philadelphia, as I said 30 minutes ago, Philadelphia is counted. And she won. She's up 400,000+ votes there in Philadelphia. But so he may win Pennsylvania. But where it's missed, where it was just missed, was the Midwest. And that's where it's going to be most glaringly wrong. A lot of talk about white voters after the election, writes Harry Anton. But looking at the exit polls, not the full story. It's obviously a big part of the story. Clinton underperformed Obama with blacks. That was expected. And Hispanics.
Oh, my God, really?
Clinton only won 88% of the black vote. Exit polls in 2012 had Obama at 93. She's at 65% among Latinos, and Obama won 71% of them. So this guy's going to look at that, this Trump guy, when he speaks tonight or tomorrow, and he's going to be like, I told you, we were doing well. I love the Latinos, the Latins.
Only 65%. Only 65%. Look, everybody let down everybody today. Okay, let's just keep it real on that. But at the same time, Latinos, what have you done? That had needed to be 95%. So for the Latinos who voted for Trump, well, if he kicks out any of your family members, right? Real quick, some small good news. And if she held Pennsylvania and held Michigan and Wisconsin, it would be great news. She's won Colorado. So Colorado's been called. Hillary Clinton has won it. It's that unexpected Wisconsin-Michigan that was all the difference. So it's not over yet, but not looking good. Nearly a 4-point lead in Wisconsin with not much left to go. So Wisconsin's probably going to end this thing, and he has taken the lead in Pennsylvania.
So where do we go from here?
Well, do some soul searching.
So this is what? This is Clinton headquarters?
That looks like it.
Yeah, I can't wait for this speech. Yeah, sorry I let you down.
Can I jump in for a second on that? So I went outside to take a breather, have a beer, and now I'm back and I'm fired up, okay? And the reason why there's so much ignorance in this country is because we have an entire political party that continuously puts down education. They defund education. Yeah. They make it more difficult for people to access information and education. Yes, we have the internet, but it takes a significant time or a significant amount of time and resources to sit there and research all the issues on your own. Our media has failed us. And when we live in a country where getting higher education means digging yourself into a gigantic hole, well, yeah, it's very easy to be ignorant in this country. I mean, okay, they look down at education. They look down at knowledge. They look down at information. I have no respect for women who voted for Trump, okay?
Yeah, me too.
I think so poorly of them, and the reason why is because, look, I don't think that you're a single issue voter. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're fucking dumb. When you vote for someone who openly treats women like second-class citizens, who talks about them as if they're nothing more than a piece of meat, who has been accused of sexually assaulting them, who has been caught on tape talking about groping them and grabbing them by the without consent, yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, yes. Okay? You are voting against your best interests. I'm losing my mind tonight because of how stupid the majority of the country is.
Yeah, it's a self-hate is real when it comes to women, and I don't think people, and I'm with you, I don't respect women specifically who voted for a man who is going to be on trial for sexually assaulting a child. A pedophile. Yeah. Like, let's talk about grown-ass women who, because what did Dave Chappelle say?
I think that charge has got dropped. I mean, I think she's not going to pursue it.
I'm sure she's not.
Oh,
but what
no,
I'm
he's
saying,
not going on trial for that. Not now.
Yeah.
Also,
look. But they use it as an insult now. Hey, again, goes to the same theme of Democrats not fighting back. You know how you fight back against that? You go, sad day for you. You're right. I'm smart and you're stupid. Okay? Mm-hmm. And you go, hey, look, you want to vote for a stupid guy? Hey, remember the stupid guy at work? Remember the guy who's kind of listless and doesn't know what he's doing? Remember how many times he screwed up the project and then you had to go and fix it? You want to vote for that guy? Have at it, Hoss.
Yeah.
So another thing we're done with today is the era of politeness.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So progressives, don't listen to the Democratic Party who tell you to neuter yourself and be fucking polite. Okay? No. Progressives we're not going to be polite anymore. You know what we're going to do? Something that the DNC has cock-blocked this entire fucking time. We're going to fight back. Okay? And we're done with politeness. Okay? We fight back. And so, I got to be honest with you guys. Look, as much as I've been, saying all this stuff on air, it's my fault too. Look, I'm going to be when the mainstream media guys talk about how we curse too much, or we're this, or we're that, or we're impolite, and we're, and it's not the credible way of doing things. It hasn't held me back, right? But I did it anyway. But I felt like maybe they were right. I don't know. Are we, like, am I the bad guy? I kept, so I don't know if you know this, but I had those doubts, right? And like, maybe we need to be more credible. Maybe we need to do this. Maybe we need to do that. And maybe that even did hold me back more than I should have been held back. I don't know. I'm being honest with you, right? And I kept thinking, am I missing something? Why? Every time they told me Obama was playing three-dimensional chess, yeah, I fought back against it. You guys have seen all their videos, right? But I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong, though. Because you know why? Because I'm open-minded. The era of politeness for the progressives is over.
I wonder how young.
Okay, so hey, look, man, you got to give us power, man, because without money we don't have power. Let's just keep it real. So I say, hey, schmuck, how'd you wind up in the minimum wage job? You think it was that immigrant that came across the border? You think it was a gay guy? What are you talking about? Well, you got to join. If you don't join, how can we fight back?
Hold on. Can I give you a couple updates, as if this matters? She won Nevada. Sorry.
Oh, that's good.
She's up in New Hampshire now by 300 votes out of 500,000, 550,000.
206 votes she's ahead by.
And in Pennsylvania, he's up by 2,000 out of more than 5 million.
Yeah.
So
and Michigan
individual votes don't matter. You can vote however the fuck you want.
Michigan got to about 10,000. It's now back up to 25,000. I just sort of have the sense she's going to win Michigan and lose Wisconsin, and then there's the bank shot Hail Mary of Arizona. But the votes that are missing,
down in Arizona.
She's down the same in Arizona, and the votes that are out are mostly Trump votes.
It's almost as if the system
fucking rigged.
It's almost as if the system is rigged, right? But it's rigged in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
and by the way,
the founders were slave owners who died when they were 40. Like they weren't such geniuses.
No, I think one of the things you can amend is the Electoral College, which makes no goddamn sense anymore.
Well, you're talking about numbers. Canada's immigration website has crashed.
That's funny. That is.
Yeah.
I went on.
Yeah. Well,
did you go on?
I did.
Yeah, the most shocking part of tonight is that our website has not crashed.
That is amazing.
Okay.
Triple stream, geez.
And in 4 years, when we hopefully beat him with I don't know who, maybe Hillary Clinton could run again. It's her turn.
I'll pull a Jimmy Dore here.
Third time's the charm.
So,
I have a friend that's in the military that told me that months ago they started preparing for war because if Trump goes into office, they're almost positive that they're going to be in some sort of war.
I'm still too polite. You see this? I got some brakes left in this car, right? So, yeah, there is a different way to do this. And so, shoot, I actually lost a train of thought for the first time in 12 hours.
You're not going to be polite, and Democrats are weak. Does that help?
Just curse. Just throw some curses in. Yeah. Because you've earned that.
I'm so amazed. This is surreal to me that Make America Great Again has been like the greatest marketing strategy to people who really resent others. Like,
well, and let's not be polite, okay? It was a great strategy to people who hated Barack Obama for being black.
Absolutely.
And what they were saying was make America white again. That's what they were
Absolutely.
saying, and that's what they heard. And they said it over and over, and that message worked. And that's not, that's not to say that every, as it's been said a million times, right? Not every Trump supporter is a racist, but every racist is a Trump supporter.
That's right.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So right now, guys, it's almost a foregone conclusion. Yes.
See, these are the days when I get to laugh at everybody because I don't have any investments, you losers.
So the ones that are left are New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona. So out of those 5, she has to win 4, okay? She has to win New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and then either Wisconsin or Arizona, okay? Good luck. Especially with Wisconsin and Arizona at 4-point leads. We broke the New York Times needle. It's just stuck at 95%. I think they felt embarrassed to go to 99% before they call it. And again, we're on a death watch here because Wisconsin's now 90% reporting, and he has a 3.4% lead. It's not going to happen. Look, I get it. Everybody will say, you were wrong, Cenk. He won. He won the most important office in the world, right? And you don't get any more winner than that. That is obviously a super fair point. And you want to throw that back at me, have at it, Hoss. You get to do that, and that's life, okay? But it just turned out the miscalculation was the Democratic Party was even bigger losers. So it was a battle of giant losers. And the Democratic Party is like, no, we are professionals at this. We can out-loser anyone.
Well, I'd like to think
and they did.
Like you guys, so I'm just saying, like they gave her a 13% chance of winning Alaska.
Here comes 13%.
Here comes. No, that's
honestly. I got to be honest with you. I forgot about Alaska.
So did I. I forgot about Alaska. So not only do you have to win Alaska, but I just looked at their thing and I'm like, how did they go up from 14 to 21%? What happened? But Michigan got closer. Pennsylvania still close. New Hampshire got closer. Yeah. Maine and Minnesota, she's likely to win. That does it right
Alaska.
there. 271. And
you
then
think Trump already won, but you know nothing.
Okay, we got to do
I'll escort myself out.
If he wins.
No, not wrapping. The election isn't called yet. We're going to wait through Alaska. No, I'm kidding. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But when we come... All right, we're back on the Young Turks election coverage on a debacle of a night. Let me give you the latest. Now she's losing Pennsylvania, and it's 98% reporting, and he's got a 0.8% lead, which means all of the dreams of an improbable comeback that involve Alaska are significantly more improbable.
Well, she only has to get like 60% of the remaining vote.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's and in Wisconsin, he has 3.5% lead with 92% reporting. I am calling it. Wisconsin's going to go to Trump. Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. Okay, so now the other news organizations have not called it yet, but they will. This is 3.5% with 92% reporting in Wisconsin. It's too large a lead. And without Wisconsin, she can't win. It's not realistic. And so, now it requires several miracles. She needs, then we could, like, at least it's not as tense. So it's over. It's over, right? Okay, now, oh boy, they could do, as John's just pointed out, they can do anything, Jimmy. They control the Senate and the House. They're going to get the Supreme Court. We handed almost unlimited power to a fascist wannabe. Buckle up. So are you not deeply, deeply concerned about that?
Yes, of course I am. I mean...
And let me tell you something. In 2020, if things play out as I think they're going to play out, the beating that Elizabeth Warren is going to put on Donald Trump is going to be unimaginable. So hear me now, quote me later. Elizabeth Warren is going to maul Donald Trump in 2020. It's you want to talk about a landslide, real landslide. Okay, states you couldn't possibly imagine a Democrat winning, she's going to win. So that's what's going to happen.
And the only reason this happened now is because the Democrats are actually Republicans. And when we...
Okay, so now everything is lost. If you're a Democrat, gone. So Trump's the president, House, Senate, Republican, Supreme Court, congratulations on letting their obstruction work. It's going to be conservative. You've lost everything, okay? And see, here's what Barack Obama doesn't understand. You're the most powerful man on earth. Use your power. But he's always a shy and a little bit of gradualism, and maybe, well, I mean, they would complain on Fox. Okay, no. What are you going to do?
And to the motherfuckers on Twitter with me right now, I just want you to know, I don't give a fuck. I'm ready for the revolution. You got me fucked up. I'm not that bitch. I'm not scared of you.
You just made their day. They like got attention from a woman for like the first time.
My bad. So one corner of this paper is Dakota Pipeline, the other one is Keystone, this one is TPP, and this one is your corporate tax cuts. Okay? So good luck with that shit. Okay? We're not doing that. Okay. Well, we got a lot of bad news tonight, and I'm in the news delivering business.
Is it official yet? So,
John, go ahead.
Updates?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania was called for Donald Trump.
It's over. Okay. So there you go. Donald Trump, next president of the United States of America.
She's up in New Hampshire.
And for 8 years, we let it play out, and there was no fight back. And what's the result? Donald Trump is president of the United States. Live with it. That wasn't me. That was you. Okay. So we now come to a point where I guess we got to consider wrapping this thing up.
I mean, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I would personally say, I mean, one of the things on a night like this that we wait for is the acceptance speech. But I don't want to make anyone here clean up vomit from the floor. So I don't think that we should actually cover it.
No. I'm going to stay, guys. I'm going to stay. We're going to. So we will, because it's over. It's over. You know, have the national organizations called the election?
I haven't seen it.
I mean, he won Pennsylvania. What the fuck are you guys waiting for? It's over.
Alaska could swing.
Yeah. It's over.
There's a phrase you just won't.
Right?
Jesus fuck Christ.
He couldn't beat Donald Trump.
Jesus Christ. With everybody on her side. With everybody trying to help her. Frickin' Republicans were coming out of the woodwork to try to help her.
Even Jay-Z tried to help her.
Jay-Z, Beyonce, for Bruce Springsteen,
the Beehive.
Everybody, every frickin' television comedian, everybody was on her side. Even guys like Michael Moore.
Robert De Niro.
Everybody, and she still lost to this guy. What does that tell you? It tells me that they call unbelievable miscalculation. People hated her before. Money is not the answer to everything. She had $1 billion. She still lost.
And pantsuits don't work. Get a dress.
Okay. But look, there's a lot of you guys out there. Stay right here. Those speeches are historic. Whether we like them or we don't, they are. And so we'll do play-by-play on them all the time. I don't want to take my ball and go home, right? So and if you're a Trump supporter out there and you're enjoying this, well, I'm going to give you more of it, okay? And all right, we're back on the Young Turks election coverage in 2016. Donald Trump is president of the United States. We all want to. Well, no, that's not.
Like we're filming like a sci-fi movie or something.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but it's real. It's our lives now. Welcome to Idiocracy.
Wow,
early. Yeah, and I don't know. Jimmy just got a text from Steph, his wife, saying that Hillary might not speak tonight.
She heard that on Fox.
That would be so egregious. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. If there's any mathematical possibility that she can win, then I'm with her. Okay, don't concede early. right? But if she's lost, and she's like, nope, I'm not going to speak. That's unacceptable if you ask me. Okay.
Podesta's speaking now.
Oh, really? About his emails?
I don't know.
What is Podesta speaking? Why Podesta? That's
Podesta,
so weird.
that's weird, right?
Podesta,
Yeah.
we're talking about Podesta.
Oh, yeah. Well, he did a...
John Podesta said everybody should go home and get some sleep because she is not done yet, and Clinton will not speak tonight, CNN reports.
Several states are too close to call, they said.
She will not speak tonight.
Wow.
Okay.
What a
All right, John,
motherfucker, huh?
let's go back to the match.
Do that. I'm tired.
Yeah, I just...
Oh, they called it.
It's over. Who called it?
AP called Wisconsin and then the race.
It's over. Now, look, we called it a while back, but now it's official. AP calling Wisconsin and the whole race. Trump is president. Okay.
So AP is called Wisconsin. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, AP called Wisconsin just now. Now. So it's over.
So that would that would end the presidential race.
Yeah, it's over. He was at 266 before Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 10 points. That gets him to 276, well past the 270 that he needed. Donald Trump's president of the United States. So Trump's empty podium is back. Well, now well deserved. That's the empty podium of the president-elect.
This is the country we live in.
I was trying to think of a more ridiculous name becomes president. I was like, Khloe Kardashian. No, that would make more sense.
I would prefer that.
Yeah, think of a reality star. They make more sense as president than Donald Trump.
I think it's, it's very easy to think of names that are better than Trump. Try to think of names that are worse. It's hard.
Right. So, like, flying squirrel for president. Hashtag flying squirrel for president. I'm on.
I think that we can now declare Hillary Clinton the worst candidate in American history. The worst politician. Perhaps.
In our lifetime.
Certainly in our lifetime. I don't know how.
Look,
I mean, come on.
Those things
we
matter.
sent Jordan to every rally to talk to the supporters, and you're going to sit there and say that racism and sexism has nothing to do with it? Of course it has something to do with it.
No.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
Trump got
that
them to
Hillary not being an inspiring candidate, being in the pocket of Wall Street or having Wall Street in her pocket has been the biggest problem. I would put more weight behind that. But to say, look, I want to be clear about something, okay? Because I know people get mad at me when I refer to Trump supporters as dumb. And I want to be clear. There are certain Trump supporters that are not dumb. They're angry at the establishment. They're angry with the economic situation. And they're voting because they look at Trump and unfortunately they believe him when he says he's going to look out for them and he's going to make things better, right? But there's also a certain population of people that do support him that are dumb, right? And
go over the top here.
Then why did you send Jordan to do all those interviews? And why did we play them on the show?
Let me explain.
Guys, hilarious. I just want to clarify my point. My point, Anna, isn't that those things don't matter. Of course they matter. I know. I'm not an idiot. Sexism is a real problem, and she's a victim of that.
It is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
Oh my God. This is so gross.
What position is Donald Trump Jr. Trump going to have?
Remember when I said, look, why can't a reality star be the president? We had a movie actor. That was the most popular form of entertainment back then. Ronald Reagan became president, right? Now we've got the most popular form of entertainment for the older generation was reality shows on TV. So a reality star became president.
In 20
We're not
years,
that
we elect
deep.
a Vine star.
Grab her by the but don't pull a baby out.
And
I want to throw up.
Yeah.
I want to throw up.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. This is.
Oh, the degree.
He's going to be in the history books. Like someone pointed out, kids are going to be taught about him in elementary school.
Listen,
and everything he does.
Let's pull it back up.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Thank you very much. I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton.
Oh. He said, I just heard her talking Secretary Clinton.
She congratulated us. It's about
This is
us.
unbelievable.
On our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard. An amazing evening. It's been an amazing 2-year period. And I love this country. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's it. That's his speech.
Thank you to Mike Pence. Thank you,
That's his
everybody.
speech.
Yeah, that's Mikey. Mikey, come up here. Yeah, thank you, Mikey. You're a good man. I mean, I gave lines to Mike. I didn't give them to you because you're not that good. But you know what I'm saying? Mikey, you're okay, though. All right.
Thank him a little bit. He's going to be in charge of domestic and foreign policy.
Okay, so that right there is just about the most depressing thing you've ever seen in your life. Okay, welcome to the new America. Okay.
2 more things.
Okay, no, then let's end it before something else
All
comes
right.
up.
Okay. I want to thank everybody that participated, all the hosts, all the staff here. The staff worked super, super hard. Hey, you know what? And I super last thing is I can't believe Hillary Clinton didn't give a speech. No, I'm serious. I think that she's probably devastated, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to give a speech. You got to give a concession speech. If Trump hadn't given a concession speech, everybody would have been screaming about how classless he is.
Yep.
So I'm keeping it real. All right. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you, and thank you for sharing throughout tonight. That's what made this so big. Thank you,
Guys.
All right. Trump is president of the United States. A true bye-bye.